Chapter 2141. Monster? You just don't know much. Xia Ping stood in the air, holding the spear of hell. Worlds of hell appeared around him one after another. It was as if he was creating countless planes of hell. He was like the god of hell that ruled over countless planes of hell and controlled the fate of all living beings. From deep in the air, a huge amount of hell's power surged out, forming countless hell's runes. They turned into terrifying hell's sharpness and shot towards Lu Xiong. Ah! Lu Xiong was caught off guard. His entire body was crushed by the hell's world and slammed into him. He was severely injured and couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. The terrifying hell's power even seeped into his organs and soul. Vaguely, he felt like his soul was being devoured by countless demons of hell. They were going to pull him into the hell's world and into the depths of hell. Not good. What kind of power is this? What kind of demonic technique is this? Why is it so terrifying? I have to run. Lu Xiong was scared half to death. At this moment, he truly felt the danger of death. If he didn't run, he would really be killed by this puny trial realm mortal. At the thought of this, he was extremely frustrated and felt endless humiliation. He was an undying saint with an undying life that far surpassed mortals. He was supposed to be in control of everything. But now, he was being beaten up by a puny mortal and could only run. This was extremely humiliating. If news of this got out, he would immediately become the laughing stock of the entire universe. But he was an ambitious person and knew what it meant to be flexible. Technique: Shadow Shapeless Escape. This was the escape technique that Lu Xiong was famous for. Once he used it, he would immediately turn into a shadow. He would be invisible and blend into the void, moving faster than the speed of light. With this technique, he had escaped death countless times. Because of this, he was able to obtain countless treasures and grow into the undying saint he was today. Whoosh! In an instant, Lu Xiong mobilized all the power in his body. His silhouette flashed, and he immediately turned into a shadow, blending into the void, wanting to escape just like that. Still want to run? Xia Ping's eyes flashed with coldness. Holding the spear of hell, he stabbed towards Lu Xiong. Hell Demon Suppressing Spear. Fourth technique: Destruction. Suddenly, a terrifying black light erupted from the depths of the hell spear. Countless strands of hell energy intertwined with each other, swirling and twisting. This beam of light simply surpassed the speed of light. It penetrated the void and almost instantaneously arrived beside Lu Xiong. Ah! Lu Xiong immediately let out a shrill scream. His body, which had turned into a shadow, was immediately hit. His whole body fell from the depths of the void, and a large amount of blood was thrown out. A powerful wave of hell energy seeped into his soul like maggots. The aura of countless hell fiends seemed to want to devour his soul. With just one spear, he was heavily injured on the spot. All the cells in his body were destroyed. I can't accept this, I can't accept this. How could a mere mortal grasp such terrifying power? This is impossible, it must be an illusion. I want to kill you, I want to turn defeat into victory. Lu Xiong roared angrily and tried to struggle. Immediately, the blood and muscle tissues squirmed and turned into a dozen or so streams. He seemed to want to turn into a dozen or so shadows and flee in all directions. As long as a part of him managed to escape, he would be able to survive. After all, he was an undying saint. Giving up a part of his body was nothing. Win my A**s. You still want to escape in front of me? Stay here and die. Xia Ping punched out. With a boom, the void trembled. A terrifying tremor occurred within a radius of billions of kilometers. Countless planets had terrifying cracks. The surrounding void solidified and was completely locked down. The dozen or so shadows nearby tried to rush out, but it was as if they had collided with an iron wall. With a few bangs, Lu Xiong's dozen or so shadows were sent flying back, causing him to feel dizzy. Then, he returned to his original body. He lay in the void like a dead fish, panting and sweating profusely. Impossible, a mere mortal wants to kill me? You must be dreaming. Even if I die, I will drag you down with me. Let's die together. Lu Xiong's expression was incomparably hideous. He was extremely terrified. He felt that his soul had been hit by the spear and then by a vicious punch. It was rapidly disintegrating. Even the undying body could not save him. He felt that he was about to die. Even if he escaped now, he would not be able to avoid death. The power of the spear was too terrifying. It could destroy undying matter. However, the closer he was to death, the crazier he became. His hatred for Xia Ping surged. If not for this bastard, he would not have ended up like this. In an instant, a terrifying destructive power rose from the depths of his body and the two low-grade saint artifacts. It was as if a star was about to explode, giving off endless light. Without a doubt, Lu Xiong wanted to self-destruct and die together with Xia Ping. Be careful, master. This guy wants to self-destruct. In the space of the mountain river pearl, the green ox sensed this and immediately warned. He was very anxious. This was because it was simply unimaginable how terrifying the self-destruction of an undying saint would be. Within a radius of billions of kilometers, all living beings would be wiped out. All the planets would be destroyed. Even if an undying saint was hit by this, he would be heavily injured. He would not be able to recover even after countless years. Moreover, Xia Ping was not an undying saint yet. After being hit by Lu Xiong and the explosion of the two low-grade saint artifacts, he would be heavily injured even with blood rebirth. He would not be able to recover in a short period of time. You want to drag me down with you? Who do you think you are? Die. But how could Xia Ping let him do that? His eyes flashed with a frightening coldness. The spiritual power of the 9 purple kingdoms started to vibrate. The ocean churned and waves surged. He channeled all of his spiritual power into the golden crow of hell. The golden crow of hell in his body boiled and burned. A wave of power was born from the depths of his body and transmitted over. Swish! Immediately, he threw the hell spear in his hand. A black beam of light appeared in the depths of the void. It was so fast that even divine senses could not detect it. It streaked across the void and stabbed into Lu Xiong's body. This. Lu Xiong was dumbfounded. He wanted to self-destruct, but before he succeeded, his body was pierced by the hell spear. A destructive power exploded in his body. With a boom, his body exploded into pieces. The terrifying power of hell exploded in the depths of his primordial spirit, tearing his soul into pieces. Chapter 2142. No way, Lu Xiong is dead? He died just like that? In the distance, Treant Elder Ritchie was in disbelief. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would not have believed that Xia Ping could kill an immortal saint so easily. What kind of person is Lu Xiong? He was an immortal saint from countless light years away. He was the ancestor of the Lu family, a peerless hero who had lived for hundreds of millions of years. Such a person must have gone through countless battles and life-threatening situations. Furthermore, he had an immortal body. How could he be killed so easily? Furthermore, Xia Ping was only a mortal in the late-stage Thunder Calamity realm. Although he was only one major realm away from the immortal realm, the difference was like heaven and earth. It was the difference between a mortal and a saint. Generally speaking, an immortal saint could kill a group of Thunder Calamity realm cultivators with a wave of his hand. However, the human before him had killed an immortal saint like Lu Xiong with his own hand. He did not even use the power of the World Tree. It was unbelievable. Even as an elder of the Treant tribe, who had lived for more than 1,000,000 years and had seen countless heroes and geniuses of various races, he could not believe what he was seeing. This was a Thunder Calamity killing an immortal. How ridiculous was that? If news of this were to spread, it would definitely shock the entire universe and make countless saints tremble. Very well, These treasures are all mine." With a grasping motion, Xia Ping immediately collected the 2 low-grade sacred artifacts left behind by Lu Xiong, the Divine Darkness Fiend and the Lightning Extermination Hammer. Although he had a lot of magic treasures on him, sacred artifacts were still very valuable. Moreover, it did not take too much effort to collect the 2 sacred tools. First of all, they were beaten to death by Xia Ping. Second, Lu Xiong almost blew himself up just now, which also consumed the origin of the 2 low-grade sacred tools, causing their vitality to be greatly damaged. Most importantly, the 2 sacred weapons had already witnessed Xia Ping's strength and were already willing to submit to him. They did not have much of a problem with acknowledging Xia Ping as their master. Apart from the 2 inferior-grade sacred weapons, Lu Xiong also had a spatial treasure that contained many treasures. They were all Lu Xiong's collection over the years, including a large number of spirit Y, pill Y, and minerals. They were all priceless. Unfortunately, Lu Xiong was not an abyss demon and could not become fertilizer for the world tree. Otherwise, he would have captured him long ago and made him suffer a fate worse than death. Well, is there a little mouse next to it? Forget it, let's go, lest a long night brings trouble. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He could sense a powerful aura hiding in the depths of the void, as if it could launch a sneak attack at any time. The masters of these auras were no weaker than Lu Xiong. Many times, those hidden enemies tried to launch sneak attacks, but they couldn't find any flaws, because Xia Ping was always vigilant, not giving them any chance. These rats probably sensed the battle between him and Lu Xiong, so they quietly came over, trying to take advantage of him. Unfortunately, he did not give these enemies too many chances. With that thought, Xia Ping returned to the stars in a flash and left quickly. From the moment Xia Ping left the battlefield until the stars left the star field, the enemies hidden in the dark cosmos did not choose to launch a sneak attack. Clearly, they were extremely afraid of Xia Ping's strength. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Not long after Xia Ping left, 2 or 3 figures appeared in the depths of the void, emitting the aura of an immortal sage. They looked in the direction Xia Ping left with a solemn expression. I didn't expect that cunning Lu Xiong would still die, and he died in the hands of a lightning tribulation realm mortal. Who would believe this? Lightning tribulation killing an immortal is simply a fantasy. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would have thought I was crazy, a green-robed old man sighed. Isn't that so? I wanted to launch a sneak attack many times, but I forced myself to stop. My sixth sense warned me that if I really dared to attack, I would definitely die. Now it seems like I stop. Look at that kid. He has long discovered our position and is always vigilant. Another black-robed old man said in a relieved tone. Fortunately, he was cautious and did not launch a sneak attack, or he might have followed in Lu Xiong's footsteps. What a terrifying young man! When did such a terrifying young genius appear in the universe? He can kill an immortal at the lightning tribulation realm. If he can really become an immortal, won't he be heaven-defying? It's really like the back pushing the front. A blue-robed old man sighed. He felt that he was really getting old. He actually could not compare to such a young man. If I'm not wrong, this young man should be the recently famous wanted criminal, Wu Wudi. The green-robed old man said his guess. I see. It's actually that Wu Wudi. The black-robed old man's eyes lit up. No wonder I felt that kid did not use his full strength, and even purposely showed flaws during the battle to lure me into a trap. Now it seems like I was right. I heard that he has an immortal Gaia protecting him. If we had rashly attacked, we would definitely have been suppressed by immortal Gaia. Then we would have died without a whole corpse. He sounded very relieved. Fortunately, he was cautious and did not attack. After living for so long, even as an immortal sage, he knew what was called caution. It was never wrong to be careful. Forget it. This is also the fault of that idiot Lu Xiong. If he did not provoke Wu Wudi for no reason and bully others, he would not have ended up like this. He deserved it. The green-robed old man quickly extricated himself from this matter and said, "Moreover, Lu Xiong is dead. This star field's power distribution needs to be changed. Also, the Lu family has obtained countless benefits over the years. It's time to spit them out." The Lu family could be so domineering in this star field because of Lu Xiong's power. As the saying went, success was due to Lu Xiong, and failure was also due to Lu Xiong. If Lu Xiong was still alive, then no one would dare to touch the Lu family. But now that Lu Xiong was dead, the Lu family was completely finished. No one could protect them. Naturally, with Lu Xiong dead, there is naturally no need for the Lu family to exist. Let's split the Lu family into 3 parts. Each of our 3 families will get a share. Sure, I agree with this method. The immortal sage's expression was indifferent. Soon, the Lu family's fate was decided. This was the cruelty of the universe. Without the backing of a powerful person, without enough power, no matter how much wealth one had, it was impossible to protect it. It was just an illusion. Chapter 2143. A few days later. 1 second to remember, there was no pop-up window to read for free. Xia Ping had been refining and repairing the 2 inferior-grade sacred weapons that he had obtained from Lu Xiong, the Thunder Extermination Hammer and the Darkness Heavenly Fiend. Today, he had finally refined the 2 sacred weapons completely and mastered them thoroughly, reaching the realm of being one with the weapons. Whoosh! Immediately, he sensed that the 2 inferior-grade sacred weapons had given him a huge source of power in the depths of his body, which had greatly improved the magic power of the 9 purple mansions in his body. During this period of time, he had not only refined the 2 inferior-grade sacred weapons, but he had also used 2 or 3 immortal fruit. Immediately, Xia Ping's magic power had increased by leaps and bounds, saving him tens of thousands of years of effort in condensing his magic power. It had to be said that the energy contained in the immortal fruits was too huge and extraordinary. If an ordinary person had used 3 immortal fruits, their body would have exploded from the energy. However, Yi Shiwen was different. 3 immortal fruits could only be regarded as a beneficial supplement. Even so, it had saved him a lot of effort in condensing his magic power. It could be regarded as a great benefit. He felt that he was getting closer and closer to the peak of the Thunder Calamity realm. Vaguely, it seemed that he would soon touch the border of the Sea of Sufferings. In the depths of the void, there was also an increasingly powerful Thunder Calamity energy brewing. It was as if he was sitting on pins and needles. As expected of an inferior-grade sacred weapon. It really has endless magic power. Xia Ping was very satisfied to see that he had obtained 2 inferior-grade sacred weapons, the Thunder Destruction Hammer and the Darkness Sky Disaster. Although their power was not comparable to Hell treasures like the Hell Spear, they were still relatively powerful treasures. For example, the Thunder Destruction Hammer could control the energy of the Thunder Calamity, which could exert the power of the Chaos Thunder technique in Xia Ping's body by more than 10 times. With a swing of the hammer, it was like a world-ending thunder. Ordinary enemies would probably be killed with a swing of the hammer. They would not be able to withstand it at all. And the Darkness Sky Disaster was also a good support treasure. Once it was used, it could immediately ambush the enemy and completely trap the enemy in it, leaving them with nowhere to hide. Under certain special circumstances, it could play a huge role. The H-Gold slime seems to have evolved successfully. All of a sudden, Xia Ping opened his eyes. With a thought, he immediately sensed that the H-Gold slime, which had been in the process of evolving, had undergone a huge change. With a swoosh, his figure flashed, and he immediately flew to the place where the H-Gold slime had gone into seclusion to evolve. It was in a valley, and there were no signs of human habitation within a radius of 10 million kilometers. After devouring the Mother Earth stone, the H-Gold slime, which was originally in the form of a T-ball, seemed to have countless mysterious runes and law lines surging out of its body. Its body emanated a rich, unfathomable aura of the essence of the earth, as if it had communicated with the essence of the earth and become a part of it. However, at that moment the sky suddenly split open. The space of the mountain river Pearl directly connected to the void of the universe, and a huge spatial crack appeared, tearing the world apart. It was thousands of kilometers long. Crash, a massive vortex that was thousands of kilometers wide appeared in the sky, and dense disaster power brewed. It was golden and gave off a metallic aura as terrifying lightning energy gathered. What's going on? Was this a lightning tribulation? It's not my lightning tribulation, but Little Gold's lightning tribulation? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He immediately sensed that this lightning tribulation was not aimed at him, but at the H-Gold slime. It appeared when the H-Gold slime was about to advance. Master, don't worry. This is a magic treasure tribulation. It's a tribulation that all spiritual treasures have to go through when they are about to advance to a holy artifact. This time, the H-Gold slime has to go through the Golden Gung Thunder. At that moment, Green Ox appeared and explained to Xiaoping. The H-Gold slime is finally going to advance to a holy artifact. That's great. Corinne also came to this place and was extremely excited. This is the magic treasure tribulation, the tribulation to advance to a holy artifact? Hearing these words, Xiaoping immediately understood. Not only did humans have to go through a tribulation to transcend mortality and enter holiness, but magic treasures also had to go through a tribulation to advance to a holy artifact. Only after going through this tribulation and being baptized by the heavenly tribulation and absorbing the power of the laws of heaven and earth, could it truly become an extremely powerful holy artifact. Little Gold should be fine, right? Xiaoping asked with a little worry. It doesn't matter. The H-Gold slime's accumulation is extremely deep. It has also swallowed the Mother Earth Stone, a rare treasure of heaven and earth. Going through this heavenly tribulation will be as easy as flipping its hand. Corinne indicated that this was not a big problem. However, we can't get too close. We must maintain a certain distance. Otherwise, not only will we be affected, but it may also cause the power of the heavenly tribulation to increase, causing the H-Gold slime to suffer an even greater tribulation. Green Ox said in a deep voice. All right. Xiaoping nodded. His figure flashed and immediately left the range of the H-Gold slime's tribulation. He only watched from afar and wouldn't interfere. However, if the H-Gold slime really encountered any danger, he would still choose to rescue it. As soon as his voice fell, the Golden Gung Thunder above the sky bombarded down. It was a golden lightning, as if it was condensed from metal. The golden lightning impressively turned into knives, swords, halberds, bows and arrows, spears, whips, and other 18 weapons. Tens of thousands of swords and weapons bombarded down at the same time, smashing fiercely on the H-Gold slime's body. This kind of momentum was like the attack of thousands of troops and horses. It was very terrifying. Suddenly, the H-Gold slime turned into a golden ball with a diameter of about 10 meters. Dense runes appeared on the surface of the ball. It was unfathomable, as if it was the origin of the earth. Bang, bang, bang! All the Golden Gung Thunder bombarded down, immediately erupting a series of terrible metal colliding sounds. Sparks splattered everywhere, and clanging sounds rang out. Moreover, the Golden Gung Thunder did not stop at all. It poured down like raindrops, like a violent storm. The surrounding tens of thousands of kilometers were filled with a violent aura. Even when these Golden Gung Thunder landed on the ground, the earth, trees, rocks, flowers, and so on were immediately eroded by the Golden Gung Chi and instantly turned into metal. It could be said that the area of tens of thousands of kilometers seemed to have been permanently changed into a metal zone. However, even so, the H-Gold slime was still unscathed. It was like a god standing above the earth, absorbing all the energy of the earth. No matter what kind of Golden Gung Thunder bombarded it, not only did it not hurt it, but it also tempered it thousands of times, helping it to eliminate impurities. It was like a blacksmith refining a knife. It's too strong. After devouring the Mother Earth stone, the H-gold slime is simply blessed by Mother Earth. It has an absolute defense. A mere golden gung thunder can't hurt it at all. Chapter 2144. This time, the magic treasure tribulation lasted for a full day and a night. With the golden slime's body as the center, the area within a radius of 100,000 kilometers was affected by the golden gung lightning. Endless golden gung chi eroded every corner within 100,000 kilometers, permanently changing this place. Originally, there were towering mountains of rock and soil, but at this moment, they were also eroded by the golden gung chi and turned into metal mountains. It could be said to be a boundless metal mountain range. And the towering trees, the weeds, the flowers, and the rivers all turned into metal minerals, turning into metal trees, metal weeds, and metal flowers. The area within 100,000 kilometers was golden, containing a strong metal aura. Vaguely, there were countless swords cutting and colliding here. It was extremely magical. The golden slime, which was originally 10 meters in diameter, also underwent a huge change. It was bombarded by countless golden gung lightning, constantly expelling impurities. In the end, it was only a centimeter in size, like a glass bead. But all that was left was the essence, the crystallization after it had been tempered by the magic treasure tribulation. Boom! When the last golden gung lightning bombarded down, a terrifying vortex immediately appeared in the sky. The golden slime seemed to have communicated with the origin of the universe and received the universe's recognition. Whoosh! In an instant, a huge amount of energy, as well as the information of the universe's laws, descended from the depths of the void, pouring into the golden slime like mercury pouring down the ground. And the golden slime did not refuse, greedily devouring the energy of the universe's origin, as well as the information of the laws from the depths of the universe, so that countless laws were recorded in the depths of its body. Vaguely, dense lines of laws appeared all over its body, impressively reaching the realm of transcendence. There was a sense of transcendence. Even its entire body was supplemented by the rich origin of the universe, immediately expanding to about the size of a soccer ball, seemingly full of elasticity. I finally succeeded. Xia Ping was very excited. He had an extremely close spiritual connection with the golden slime, so he immediately sensed that the golden slime had successfully transformed. It had truly become a magic treasure of the sage level. He saw countless golden patterns on the surface of the golden slime's body, noble and mysterious. But in the depths of its body, there seemed to be dense black lines, which seemed to be the energy from hell. It was probably the power obtained by devouring hell ores. The golden and black patterns intertwined with each other, presenting a noble unity, unfathomable. Slime. Suddenly, the golden slime opened its eyes, a trace of intelligence emitting from the depths of its pupils. With a whoosh, it jumped into Xia Ping's arms with extreme excitement, expressing its joy. However, even though it had leveled up to become a sacred tier magic treasure, it was still incapable of saying too much. It could only communicate with Xia Ping through its mind. Xiao Jin, what changes have you experienced? Xia Ping asked curiously. Slime. The golden slime tilted its head, and a tremendous amount of information was immediately transmitted into Xia Ping's mind, letting him know the changes that had happened to the golden slime's body, as well as the abilities it possessed. Golden Slime, a low-grade sacred artifact. Divine Ability 1, Myriad Transformations. It can transform into any weapon and possess the properties and abilities of any weapon. Divine Ability 2, Swallow Everything. Swallow all the minerals in the world and take the minerals' energy as your own. Divine Ability 3, Earthen Body. A special ability obtained by devouring the Mother Gaia stone. As long as the wielder stands on the ground, the wielder will be able to endlessly absorb the Earth's essence power. The wielder's power will never weaken. As long as the wielder stands on the ground, the wielder's body will be able to withstand it and unleash 10 times, or even 100 times, the wielder's power. Divine Ability 4. Unstoppable. After overcoming the tribulation of magic treasures, the wielder fused with the Mother Gaia's stone and obtained the laws of vibration. It can easily cut apart all matter in the world. Nothing can stop its sharpness. Divine Ability 5. Earthquake. One of the essence powers of the Mother Gaia's stone. It can cause the earth to quake, the void to tremble, and spatial storms. The greater the pain and rage within the wielder's heart, the more terrifying the tremors will be. It can let the world know of its pain. Powerful. Simply too powerful. Sensing the information, Xia Ping became dumbfounded. Although he had long since known that the golden slime would receive an explosive increase in power after leveling up to become a low-grade sacred artifact, he did not expect it to be this terrifying. Every single one of the divine abilities was comparable to a sacred artifact. Although the golden slime was only a low-grade sacred artifact, in reality, even an ordinary high-grade sacred artifact might not be able to compare to the golden slime. It was no wonder that after a sage obtained the golden slime, he was able to dominate the universe and sweep away all other sages. This was not without reason. Of course, now that Xiao Jin had devoured the Mother Gaia stone, its potential had surpassed all the previous environmental slime. If it continued to be nurtured, it was not impossible for the golden slime to become the strongest sacred artifact. After all, it could continue to evolve. This was probably one of its most terrifying abilities. Xiao Jin. Xia Ping moved his mind, and with a whoosh, the golden slime instantly transformed into a huge golden sword. There were dense dark golden patterns engraved on it, and it contained an extremely strong power of the laws of the universe. The huge golden sword in his hand was like the sword of a king. In an instant, both his feet stood on the ground. It was as if his body, his soul, and his powers had completely fused with the earth. There was no distinction between them. Even the terrifying source of energy from the depths of the earth was like a tidal wave. It passed through his feet to his limbs, and even to the depths of the 9 great purple mansions. An invincible, endless power was brewing in his body. Dong. Thinking of this, Xia Ping held the huge golden sword and gently swung it. Instantly, the space in the distance was torn apart. A terrifying crack of space that was thousands of kilometers long appeared. This space could not withstand the sharpness of the golden slime at all and was easily torn apart. Master, don't test the sword here. The pearl of mountain and river is about to collapse. Instantly, the green bull was scared half to death and immediately stopped Xia Ping's next move. Because after being swung by the huge golden sword, the entire space seemed to be on the verge of collapsing. If this continued, the entire space would probably be destroyed and the stability of the pearl of mountain and river's laws of space would be affected. It completely did not expect the power of the golden slime to reach this level. Even the space of the pearl of mountain and river could not stop it. Okay, I understand. Chapter 2145. Far away. Chong Xiaoqian and Tan Minglu also saw this scene. They were originally playing games at home, but they were attracted by the treasure calamity and came over to see what was going on out of curiosity. However, they just happened to see Xia Ping using the golden greatsword. So powerful! This is the legendary sword of the king. Could it be that this bad guy Prince Regent has not only taken my throne, but also my sword of the king? How despicable! Chong Xiaoqian was drooling. She felt that such a majestic, golden greatsword was very suitable for her status as a king. If she took out this treasured sword, she would immediately be able to command the world and intimidate countless people. However, she felt that it was a waste for such a powerful sword of the king to fall into the hands of that detestable Prince Regent. Chong Xiaoqian's eyes darted around. She felt that she had to think of a way to steal this sword of the king. No, not steal. As a king, how could it be considered stealing when she asked a commoner for something? Moreover, No matter how she looked at it, this sword belonged to a king. To put it simply, it belonged to Chong Xiaoqian. If she took it back, it should be called returning it to its rightful owner. It looks delicious. Unlike Chong Xiaoqian, Tan Menglu was drooling. She felt that if she ate that treasured sword, her strength would definitely increase greatly, and she would be able to satisfy her appetite. More importantly, that treasured sword gave off an alluring fragrance that made one drool. It was a pity that this was bad guy Xia Ping's treasured sword. It looked like a treasure, so there was probably no way she would eat it. If he got angry, she might not be able to eat for a few days. She felt that it was better for her not to act rashly. Chong Xiaoqian and Tan Menglu were not the only ones who noticed this. Because the treasure calamity covered such a large area, many of the primordial species saw this scene as well. Oh my God, what a powerful treasure! It has just passed the treasure calamity, but it already possesses such power. I didn't expect the treasures of humans to be so powerful. This is really scary. Humans have weak bodies and poor talents, but they are good at all kinds of strange technique. They can refine all kinds of magical treasures to greatly increase their combat power, which is why they are one of the top races in the universe. Now, it seems that it is indeed so. No, you are all mistaken. That is no ordinary magic treasure. That is the legendary slime race. Rather, it is the supreme king of the slime race, the golden slime. What? It's actually a golden slime. Damn it, what kind of dogsh *t luck does this human have to be able to find a golden slime? Isn't this like adding wings to a tiger? That human is becoming more and more monstrous. It seems like we have no chance of leaving at all. Many of the primordial descendants were in incomparable despair. Previously, they still had the thought of escaping. They felt that if they found the right opportunity, they might be able to escape from this cage. However, as this damned human's strength continued to improve, they felt that their chances were getting slimmer and slimmer. They had almost given up on the idea of running away. A group of idiot. With just your strength, it is naturally impossible to leave this damned place. Because your brains are all muscles, without the slightest bit of intelligence. At this time, the Fae and Crow Demon Bird also took the opportunity to run out of the valley. With an arrogant expression, they directly arrived in front of the many primordial descendants. Huh? Isn't this the Fae and Crow Demon Bird? Weren't you captured to breed? How come you have the time to run out now? An primordial descendant curiously asked. Shut up. Who was captured to breed? Who was the one who spread the rumor? Hearing this, the Crow Demon Bird and Fae were so angry that their faces turned green. They were fuming with anger and wished that they could capture the primordial descendant who spread the rumor and give him a beating. It wasn't someone who spread the rumor, but something that everyone saw with their own eyes. An primordial descendant disdainfully said, Moreover, I also heard that the two of you were captured by the Tautai to be shit-shoveling officers. Every day you were nannies, living a life worse than death. You don't even dare to speak loudly. You don't even have the slightest bit of dignity as an primordial descendant. Although everyone was a prisoner, their statuses were also divided into different ranks. Without a doubt, the Fae and Crow Demon Bird were the lowest among them. Bullshit, that is the Tautai of the primordial vicious 10. It will eat people's entire families at the slightest provocation. You fucking dare to speak loudly in front of it? Are you tired of living? The Fae was extremely angry. It felt that this group of primordial descendants were easy to talk to. That was the infamous Tautai. Its entire body emitted a fiendish aura, and even primordial descendants were scared out of their wits. It had seen with its own eyes how terrifying that Tautai was. In one gulp, it swallowed a small mountain of food that weighed dozens of tons. However, this was merely food. It wasn't enough for it to have a sumptuous meal. One could imagine how terrifying that Tautai was. When it went crazy, it would eat everything. It was simply unstoppable. Don't talk to this group of people with shallow knowledge. How can a sparrow know the ambitions of a swan? The crow demon bird said arrogantly. Keep bragging. You are just a sh*t shoveling officer. What great ambitions do you have? The group of primordial descendants mocked. The crow demon bird and the fae clenched their teeth and swore inwardly. Bastard, just you wait. I will flatter that Tautai and that hateful lowly until they are satisfied and gain their trust. At that time, they will escape from this demon's den. Let's see if these bastards still dare to speak loudly to them. They decided to endure hardships and gain courage. Swoosh. At this time, Xia Ping recalled the golden slime. It turned into a bracelet and wrapped around his wrist. Although it was just a small test just now, he had a rough idea of the golden slime's current strength. Relying on its various divine abilities, the current golden slime was most likely extraordinary. With this golden sword in hand, he could contend against an immortal saint. His strength had increased by more than 10 times. Oh right, Ricky still hasn't found where the tree world is? Xia Ping suddenly thought of this matter. He asked the Treant Race's Ruth through his divine sense. I'm sorry, Lord Xia. Grandpa Ricky is still trying to sense it, but he still hasn't received a response from the holy tree. I'm afraid it will take some time. The Treant Race's Ruth expressed that such things were very normal. Sometimes the tree world was too far away. There were many things and factors that interfered with it. It was normal to need a month to determine the tree world's location. I see. In that case, I will delay the plan to go to the tree world a little. I will go to the illusion race's lair first. Xia Ping decided to go to the illusion race's lair first. After all, according to the illusion race's warrior Barty, there was a large number of sound rune stones in the illusion race's treasury. These sound rune stones were very important to him. If he could obtain a large number of sound rune stones, then his life treasure, the Chaos Bell, would undergo a huge evolution. Chapter 2146. Huh! After Xia Ping entered the white space node, he found himself in a vast dimensional space. A majestic world appeared in front of him. It was boundless and it looked like an eggshell. This world was, without a doubt, the illusory race's lair, the illusory realm. This world seemed to be surrounded by clouds and mist, and there were many restrictive formations set up. Thousands of rule chains were faintly discernible, containing earth-shattering power. It was like a terrifying beast lying dormant. There were thousands of small planets around this world. According to Barty, these small planets were the bases for entering the illusory realm. All illusory race warriors who returned to the illusory realm needed to report to this base. They could only return to the illusory realm after their identities were checked. This was for the sake of the illusory realm's safety. After all, if enemies of other races invaded the illusory realm, it would bring unimaginable disaster to the illusory race. Whoosh! Not long after, Xia Ping's body flashed, and he landed on one of the planet. He wasn't the only one. Countless illusory race warriors landed on this planet from all directions, waiting to be checked. There were so many of them, there were more than 10 million of them. Dong. Soon, everyone landed on a plaza on this planet. The entire plaza seemed to be made of white jade, and it was grand. A palace appeared in front of them, with the words, Clearance Hall written on it. Clearly, this place was similar to a customs office. Countless illusory people had to pass through this place to be checked. So many experts. Xia Ping's divine sense swept out, silently penetrating the entire planet. He could immediately sense that there were countless experts on this planet. There were tens of thousands of Thunder Retribution Realm experts lying in ambush here. Every one of them had a powerful aura, and they all contained terrifying energy. The entire planet was also covered in a dense array of restrictive formations. If an enemy invaded, they could immediately activate the restrictive formations, fuse with the power of the illusory realm, and kill all the enemies in an instant. One could imagine how powerful the illusory race was. Beat. In an instant, the entire plaza shook. A white light swept out in all directions, scanning every corner of the plaza, every figure, and every spatial treasure. There was nowhere to hide. Xia Ping also felt like he was being spied on. It was as if a great being was examining him, and he could not keep any secrets. This was probably a special inspection method of the magic race. However, this was completely useless against the faceless mask. He had transformed into Barty without any flaws, and he had also concealed the aura of the orb of mountains and rivers. These probing methods had no effect on him. Past. All of them are warriors of the illusion race. There are no enemies. Suddenly, a mechanical voice rang out in the square. Very well, you can head to the illusory realm. An official from the illusory race waved his hand. To them, this was just a formality. It was fine as long as there were no spies from other races. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, the entire square shook. A huge teleportation array appeared, creating a strong spatial fluctuation. In an instant, countless people from the illusion tribe were teleported to the illusion dimension. The next batch of people from the illusion tribe entered the square one after another, waiting for the next inspection. This is the illusion world? Suddenly, there was a change in space, and Xia Ping felt himself being teleported to another place. It was as if he had entered the illusion world completely. In front of him was a huge palace, and countless people from the illusion tribe were entering and exiting this place. In front of the palace there was a black signboard, Mission Hall. Barty, what is this place? Xia Ping asked through divine sense. This is the Mission Hall of the illusion tribe, Barty immediately replied. When people from the illusion tribe return to the illusion world, they usually complete the tasks assigned by the illusion tribe. Otherwise, they would not return under normal circumstances. So, basically, when we return to the illusion world, we are teleported to the mission hall to accept tasks and receive rewards from the race. He said that he had left the illusion world because he had accepted a year-end task from the illusion tribe, which required him to swindle 100 million universe dollars. The reason why Barty had taken the risk to impersonate Wu Wuti was to complete the task assigned by the illusion tribe. After all, if he could not complete the task, then his status in the illusion tribe would be lowered. For example, a noble like him would be demoted to a commoner, unable to enjoy the various privileges of a noble. So, the hierarchy of the illusion tribe was extremely strict, almost insurmountable. I see. Xia Ping did not expect the rules of the illusion tribe to be so strict. They completely treated everyone as a company employee. Every year, there was a quota to complete the task. If they did not complete it, they would be demoted, their treatment would be reduced, and they would be treated as trash. If they wanted to be a traitor, they would be immediately hunted down and executed. Must I cheat? Can't I rob or something? Xia Ping asked. No, it must be a scam. Also, I have to report all the details of my actions to the elders. They will check carefully, and no cheating is allowed, Barty said in a low voice. This is a way for the elders to select talent. Only those who are smart and cautious enough can become the upper echelons of the illusion tribe. The elders don't like idiots with brains full of brains. Smart, cautious, and careful. These were the life-saving skills of the illusion tribe, and also the way they selected the upper echelons. Hey, isn't this idiot Barty? Why are you back in the illusion world? Did you complete your task? Just then, a group of people walked over from the distance. There were about 6 of them, and one of them was a blond young man in a white shirt. He walked over with a frivolous expression, looking at Xia Ping with contempt. Damn it, this is Chris, the son of a big noble. He's been my nemesis since I was young, and he likes to cause me trouble. Seeing this person appear, Barty's expression was very ugly. It seemed that he had suffered a lot in front of this Chris, and was the kind of person who was bullied countless times. Thinking of this, he had a lot of mental shadows. What's wrong? Seeing that I'm so scared I can't speak. Where are your minions and lackeys? Don't tell me they're all dead? The blond man, Chris said. Do you even need to ask? They must all be dead. That's why they ran back to the illusion world with their tails between their legs. It's not like we don't know what idiot Barty is capable of. After the new year, if he can't complete his task, Barty will probably be demoted to a commoner. The lackeys beside him laughed and mocked him. It seemed that Barty was the object of their amusement. Chapter 2147. Stop right there, Barty. What kind of attitude is that? How dare you ignore me? Chris was infuriated when he saw Xia Ping turning a blind eye to him and treating him like air. He shouted loudly and stood in front of Xia Ping. Reading Dereliction of Duty. Leahy liked to mock and toy with Barty. He liked to see Barty's aggrieved, indignant and helpless expression. He wanted to see this trash struggling and wailing in his hands. However, this Barty in front of him was unmoved by his mockery. His expression was even looking down on him, as if he was looking at a clown. How could the proud and arrogant Chris endure such disregard? A good-for-nothing actually dared to look at him with such a gaze. It was truly intolerable. Carrie, a good dog doesn't block the way, Xia Ping said calmly. Big brother, this B***** called you a dog. A lackey jumped out, full of righteous indignation. Shut up. With a slap, Carrie sent the lackey flying. He was furious. Do I have no F***king intelligence? Don't I have ears? Do I need you to remind me? Sorry, big brother. The lackey covered his red and swollen face. He knew that his flattery had hit the nail on the head. Barty. Carrie turned his head and looked at Xia Ping. His face was dark. I haven't seen you for a while. You've gotten a lot more guts. You even dare to speak to me like that. Did you curry favor with some backer that gave you the confidence? He felt that this cowardly and stupid tyrant actually had the courage to stand up to him. It was really unbelievable. It was like a sow had been enlightened and knew how to climb trees. What backer can I get? I'm not like you. I don't have a good father to take care of me. You don't have to fight to the death. You can just lie down and complete the mission. People and lives are really different. Xia Ping spread his hands, indicating that he had no backer. But don't provoke me. Otherwise, I'll make you cry so rhythmically that it'll be useless even if you call your father over. Do you understand? He warned this Carrie in front of him. Don't be so shameless. Hearing this, the surrounding illusion people couldn't help but laugh. They could all hear the sarcasm in Xia Ping's words. He was clearly mocking Chris for only relying on his father to complete the mission. Without a background, he was nothing. Chris was enraged. Instantly, Chris flew into a rage. He was a person with a strong sense of pride, and what he hated the most was people saying that he was purely relying on his family, and that he had no ability at all. However, this guy in front of him actually dared to mock him in front of so many people. This was simply touching his reverse scale. Barty, you're courting death, Chris shouted angrily. He could no longer control his anger. His figure flashed and he threw out a punch. It whistled like the wind and thunder, and the power of the peak of the gold core realm exploded out. Based on this divine power alone, he was at least twice as powerful as Barty. It was not without reason that he could bully Barty as he pleased. But to Xia Ping, he was like a baby. He flipped his hand and sent out a palm. Dong! Chris's whole body was slammed onto the ground like a ball. In an instant, a human-shaped hole was formed. The surrounding cement floor was shattered, and an earthquake with a magnitude of 7 or 8 was produced. With a puff, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. 10 bones in his body were broken, and even the internal organs in his body were severely injured. Brother Chris. Seeing this, the other lackeys were enraged. They wanted to rush up, but Xia Ping waved his hand, and with a boom, they were all sent flying hundreds of meters away. All of them were severely injured, and they fell to the ground, coughing up blood. Instantly, their faces were filled with shock. They didn't expect this cowardly Barty to be this strong. He defeated them with just one move. Many of the surrounding illusion people knew Chris and Barty. They were also shocked. Originally, they thought that Barty would also be bullied badly this time. They didn't expect the result to be the opposite. Barty, you broke through the gold core realm and advanced to the returning nature realm? Chris raised his head and looked at Xia Ping in shock. He felt that the gap between the two of them couldn't be this big, unless Xia Ping's cultivation had broken through and crossed a whole realm. That's right. This time, I had a fortuitous encounter and luckily broke through to the returning nature realm. From now on, you and I are not on the same level. You'd better be respectful to me and humble yourself. Otherwise, I'll beat you up every time I see you. Xia Ping's body emitted the aura of someone in the returning nature realm. Damn, what a lucky bastard. Chris was so jealous that his intestines turned green. This bastard, who was originally so far away from him, had a fortuitous encounter and suddenly advanced to the returning nature realm. His strength was more than 10 times stronger than before. He had been stuck in the gold core realm for hundreds of years, but he couldn't break through. But this Barty's luck was good to this extent. How could he be satisfied? No wonder this bastard's attitude was completely different after he came back. Did he think that just because he had the cultivation of the returning nature realm, he could completely disregard him? The surrounding illusion people were all envious. Every time one advanced to the next realm, their status in the illusion race would be greatly improved. This was a real benefit. Without a doubt, the current Barty, be it in terms of strength or status, was completely different from before. Barty, just you wait. This is definitely not over. Chris fiercely spat out a sentence, then left with his tail between his legs in a sorry state. After all, with their current strength, even if they wanted to fight Xia Ping, it was not realistic. Staying here was just asking to be humiliated. Xia Ping didn't care about the expressions of these stray dogs. After all, he was an existence that could even kill an immortal saint. A mere gold core realm junior was nothing to him. He didn't kill this group of people because this was the illusion race's territory. He couldn't act rashly. Otherwise, with this group of people's attitude, if they were in the outside world, they would die 10 times over. He was very calm. He ignored the gazes of the surrounding people and directly entered the mission hall. There are a lot of missions. Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. He saw that on the empty space in the mission hall, there were many virtual projections. On top of them, there were many missions. He took a closer look, and his face suddenly became very strange. These missions were all criminal missions. Reward of 10 million universe dollars. Universe Tycoon Reigns has an affair. He wants to divorce his wife. In order to prevent his wife from splitting a large amount of his assets, we need a Playboy G to seduce his wife. Take a photo and get evidence. Anyone with a unique way to pick up girls. Y6 Star Sector X166 Planet Z City Rosebank. The day after tomorrow at 5 p.m. Those who want to rob can come together. The money obtained can be divided equally. Note, we urgently need an explosives expert. Those who know how to assemble bombs are preferred. Is there anyone who wants to be a pirate? We can drink big, eat big, and have pretty girls to enjoy. When it comes to robbing, we, the Watermelon Pirates, are the most professional. We haven't been caught for 300 years. Chapter 2148. Barty, what are you doing here? Coming back to the Fantasy Quest Hall with nothing to do? Did you finish your year-end mission? Just as Xia Ping was looking at the mission panel, a fierce-looking middle-aged man appeared next to him. His brown eyes were as vicious as a scorpion's. This is the head of the Quest Hall, Jacob. Barty, who was in the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers, immediately gave his information. He has a good relationship with Kelly. Apparently, Kelly once tried to curry favor with him and gave him a lot of gifts in exchange for good treatment. Every time he went on a mission, it was the easiest. But I am different. Because I have no money to bribe him, he has always been hostile towards me. He doesn't like me, and thinks I am a disgrace to the nobles of the illusion. Xia Ping turned around and looked at the middle-aged man. What are you looking at? What kind of look is that? Do you think you can do whatever you want here just because you have reached the returning true realm? Do you believe that I can kill you with a finger? Seeing Xia Ping's calm expression, Supervisor Jacob immediately felt very unhappy. He felt that he had been greatly humiliated. Such a cowardly person should be the shame of the illusion race. He wanted to turn over a new leaf just because he had some miraculous encounter. He was very unhappy about this. An ant dared to look at him like that. And he was not joking. With his Calamity Realm cultivation, he could look down on Barty. Even if he reached the returning true realm, he would not be able to do anything. Clearly, he knew what had happened outside the quest hall. Head Jacob, do you have nothing to do all day? Don't you need to work? Why do you care? Do you have nothing better to do? Xia Ping glanced at him and said lightly, Barty, what kind of tone is that? How dare you talk to me like that? As the head of the quest hall, can't I ask you about your mission completion? Upon hearing this, Jacob was instantly enraged. This was the first time Barty dared to speak to him in such a tone. Usually, as long as Jacob threatened him a little, the kid would be so scared that he would piss his pants and fall to the ground crying. Sure enough, this guy had some miraculous encounter outside. After reaching the returning true realm, he became so arrogant that he did not even put Jacob in his eyes. He was full of anger now. You do have such qualifications, but the mission time is not up yet. Why are you in such a hurry? The Emperor is not in a hurry, but the eunuch is. Xia Ping said lazily. Who the hell are you calling a eunuch? Jacob was infuriated. Not only was this bastard arrogant, but his words were also very poisonous. If this wasn't the illusory realm and the mission hall with strict rules, he would have slapped this B***starred to death long ago. He wouldn't have given this B***starred a chance to speak. When the others saw this scene, they were also shocked speechless. They did not expect Barty to be this strong, to be able to anger the fierce and cruel Jacob to such an extent. It was simply inconceivable. This brat was crazy. He had actually offended Supervisor Jacob. If Jacob wanted to make things difficult for this brat, he would definitely make things difficult for him until he died. All right, I won't talk to you about this anymore. I still have things to do, so go away. Xia Ping waved his hand impatiently as if he was shooing away a fly. F***ck, this B***starred. Jacob was so angry that he almost fainted. Looking at this brat's attitude, if it was someone who did not know him, they would think he was this brat's lackey, who could be dismissed with a wave of his hand. He suppressed his anger and said, Barty, don't be too arrogant. Don't think that you can do whatever you want in the illusory realm just because you've advanced to the reverting realm. If you can't complete the mission, you'll be demoted from an aristocrat to a commoner next year. Don't you know that? There are only 2 months left until the end of the mission. Let's see what you can do. Isn't there only 2 months left? This is nothing. Don't mention 100 million, even 1 billion would be child's play. Xia Ping expressed that this was not a big problem and was very calm. Brag, keep bragging. Do you really think universe dollars isn't money? Jacob was so angry that he laughed. If it was a robbery, with his strength, he could easily get 1 billion universe dollars, but this was not a robbery mission. It was a fraud mission, and he was not allowed to use any methods. Even if it was him, it would be impossible to get 100 million in 2 months, let alone 1 billion. Even robbing a bank might not be able to get that much money. The other illusory tribe members also looked at Xia Ping with disdain. They felt that this brat was crazy beyond belief. His tone was so arrogant that he did not even know how much he was worth. You're not angry that you're fat, right? Do you want to make a bet? I, Barty, can not only get 100 million in 2 months, but I can even get more than 1 billion? Xia Ping raised an eyebrow and said calmly, "If I can do that, you'll eat a ton of sh*t immediately and lose all your assets. Do you dare to bet?" "What?" Everyone was shocked. If they lost this bet, not only would they lose all their assets, but they would also have to eat a ton of sh*t. This was such a vicious bet, yet this brat was so confident. For a moment, even Jacob was shocked. He did not expect this brat to be so ruthless. "Cowardly bandit. Look at you, you don't dare." Xia Ping said lazily. "If you don't dare to bet, then forget it. I won't force you. Pretend I didn't say anything." "Wait, who said I don't dare to bet? If you want to eat sh*t and lose all your assets, then I have no reason not to fulfill your wish. Sign the illusory contract immediately and let the ancestors bear witness." Hearing this, Jacob was enraged. He was completely enraged and agreed right there and then. This was because this was a bet that he would definitely win. If he did not dare to bet, then he would be stupid. Plus, he was afraid that Barty would go back on his word, so he immediately took out an illusory contract and wanted to sign it with Xia Ping. "Oh my God, he's serious." Many of the illusory tribe members were shocked. The illusory contract was the most sacred contract among the illusory tribe. It was extremely binding, and once it was confirmed, even a saint could not violate it. If one dared to violate it, their entire cultivation would be destroyed, and they would be expelled from the illusory world. They could even be executed. Therefore, no one from the illusory tribe dared to violate the contract. Interesting. There is a contract like this. If you want to sign it, then sign it. Xia Ping did not care. Even if he lost the competition, he would let the real Barty appear. After all, the real Barty would eat it, so he would not lose anything. With a whoosh, he immediately signed the contract with Jacob. "Good, very good. In 2 months, I will see you become a real pauper and the laughingstock of the illusory tribe." Chapter 2149. Crazy. Barty is completely crazy. He even dared to sign a contract with Supervisor Jacob. I wonder what he was thinking. Is there a hole in his brain? There must be a hole, and it's the kind that got caught in the door. If he loses, not only will he go bankrupt, but his name will also go down in history. How are we supposed to eat a ton of shit? Mix it with rice? But Barty might not lose. Bullsh*t. He swindled $1 billion universe dollars in 2 months. Do you really think money is so easy to earn? That's true. If Barty wanted to bet with me, I would have done the same. It's a bet I'll win for sure. If you have so much money, you might as well give it to me. It's all gone to waste. Barty is such an idiot. Inside the mission hall, many of the illusory people were talking among themselves, dumbfounded. They never thought Barty would agree to such a stupid bet. They all thought the kid's brain was damaged. They all looked at Xia Ping with pity. Xia Ping ignored the voices of the others and left the mission hall. But as soon as he left the mission hall, a figure appeared in front of him. It was a woman, very mature. She looked to be in her 30s, and she exuded a powerful tribulation thunder aura. She was almost as strong as Supervisor Jacob. "Barty, are you crazy? Why did you sign a contract like this with Jacob? Do you think your fate isn't miserable enough, or do you want to kill yourself?" The woman in blue frowned at Xia Ping. Her attitude was very dissatisfied. "Who are you?" Xia Ping raised an eyebrow. "Who am I? I haven't seen you for a while, and you even forgot Emma. You really have a short memory." The woman in blue was so angry that she laughed and glared at Xia Ping. Xia Ping received the information Barty sent him about Emma. Emma was an elder of the Lawrence family, and her power was at the peak of the Tribulation Thunder realm. Barty was also a child of a small family under the Lawrence family. In fact, he was under the Lawrence family's jurisdiction. In the illusory race, there was basically a large family that ruled over each other. An immortal saint could establish a family and become a faction. Many small clans would attach themselves to these sage clans and obtain all sorts of resources. The Lawrence family was founded by a female immortal sage, Sophia. Emma was an elder of the Lawrence family. She had crossed paths with Barty before, and could be considered his immediate superior. "Oh, it's Elder Emma. What business do you have with me?" Xia Ping asked as if he had remembered something. "You still dare to ask me what's the matter? Do you know how much trouble your actions will bring to the Lawrence family? It doesn't matter if you lose the contract, but it will bring shame to the entire Lawrence family because of this matter." The blue-clothed Emma said angrily. "How do you know that I will lose? So what if I win? Will you sleep with me for a night?" Xia Ping smiled at Emma, the woman in blue. "You." Emma was so angry that her face turned red. "Barty, you're so glib-tongued now that you even dare to tease me." She had never imagined that this brat would dare to tease her and even want to sleep with her. He was simply audacious to the extreme. Could it be that his mentality had swelled to such an extent just because his strength had improved? "Forget it. Sleep with me. I'm scared too. After all, you're an old woman who has lived for thousands of years. You're like a wolf or a tiger." Xia Ping waved his hand. Emma was fuming. "Shut up. Who are you calling an old woman? I dare you to say it again." She wanted nothing more than to hammer this bastard. What the hell was he talking about? Xia Ping didn't continue to pay attention to her. He walked away from her and headed for the transportation matrix near the Hall of Mission. This transportation matrix could transport people to various places in the illusion realm. It was like public transportation. Whoosh! He entered the transportation matrix, and it immediately shook. The stars moved, and Xia Ping was immediately transported to another place. It was a very famous city in the illusion realm. At the same time, it was a city ruled by the Lawrence family, Lawrence City. It covered an area of 1 million square kilometers, and was very famous for commerce, culture, and tourism. Barty's home was in a high-rise apartment in the center of Lawrence City. It was on the 45th floor, and it was a duplex house with an area of 300 square meters. After all, he was a minor noble among the illusion tribe. It was normal for him to have a house. He didn't think that Emma would still chase after him from the Hall of Mission. She looked like a ghost. "Barty, what method do you have to win the bet?" Emma looked at Xia Ping with a burning gaze. She felt that Barty was full of confidence. He didn't feel discouraged at all, and seemed to have a card up his sleeve. She suddenly felt that this Barty seemed to have a few tricks up his sleeve. Perhaps he wasn't acting rashly, but had his own plans. "This has nothing to do with you," Xia Ping said lazily. "How could it have nothing to do with me? I'm an elder of the Lawrence family. Each and every one of your actions has a great impact on the Lawrence family. I have to know clearly what you want to do. Do you have any way to deal with it? Could it be that you want to cheat, but under the contract of the illusion tribe you can't cheat at all?" Emma was very confused. "What's the use of telling you? What can you do to help? Don't make trouble for me." Xia Ping waved his hand as if he was shooing away a fly. "I am an elder of the Lawrence family, and I am very familiar with Patriarch Sophia. I have some faith. If you make a contribution this time, it's not like you can't advance further in the Lawrence family and obtain a high position." Emma said in a low voice. "So you are saying that you have a lot of power? Can you make me a guard of the treasury?" Xia Ping's heart stirred. Perhaps he could find a way from Emma. After all, his goal in entering the illusion realm was to get close to the illusion tribe's treasury and make a fortune. "Become a guard of the treasury? I didn't expect you to have such an idea. But I have to say, this is indeed a lucrative position. Many people are fighting for it. If you make a contribution and get Patriarch Sophia's appreciation, it's not impossible for you to get this position." Emma was full of confidence. "Interesting. In that case, follow me home. You can watch from the side what I want to do." Xia Ping flew toward Barty's house, his speed neither fast nor slow. I want to see what tricks you have up your sleeves. Emma wasn't afraid of being alone with Barty in a room. She was a Thunder Retribution Realm expert, and she didn't know how much stronger she was than Barty. If this kid dared to do anything, tearing him apart would be a light punishment. Moreover, she was also very curious about what this brat was planning. It was as if this bet was nothing in front of this brat, as if it was something that could be easily accomplished. Please remember this book's original domain name. Mobile version. Chapter 2150. Barty's home. What are you planning to do? Love Ma asked curiously. If he wanted to complete the mission, he would have to leave the fantasy world, but not only did this guy not leave, he even returned to his home, looking like he was giving up on the bet. You'll know when you see it. Swindling money is a very simple matter, because there are many people with low IQ in this universe. Xia Ping said carelessly. Keep bragging. Love Ma looked at Xia Ping with disdain. This bastard was getting better and better at bragging. If money was so easy to swindle, there wouldn't be so many paupers in this world. Xia Ping ignored Love Ma and logged into the Universe Virtual Network, starting to make an advertisement. Love Ma approached, wanting to know what Xia Ping was doing. When she saw the content of the advertisement, her face darkened. Because it said, the title is paying a lot of money for a child. I am Tsuehua Marion Monroe, 300 years old this year, mistress, married an old rich businessman, but because the rich businessman is infertile, he has no children and no one to inherit his vast assets. To avoid property disputes after the rich businessman's death, I am looking for a healthy young man to be a surrogate mother. No race, no age. If the call is satisfactory, I will remit a deposit of 30 million, then arrange accommodation and food. After the deed is done, I will reward you 100 million universe dollars. Solemnly stated, this matter needs to be kept confidential. It does not involve or affect the family. I refuse to play games. If you are not sincere, please call this number to contact me. There was a note below the advertisement. This advertisement has been represented by Integrity Law Firm. Ms. Tsuehua has already paid 300 million universe dollars as a deposit. If there is a breach of contract, Integrity Law Firm will bear the responsibility and compensate for it. At the same time, there was a picture of a prostitute. She had a voluptuous figure and looked very pitiful. One look and you could tell she was a beauty who often caused trouble. It made men's blood boil. She was the kind with 3,000 men. Even if they didn't need money, they still wanted to spend the night with her. Paying a lot of money for a child? You're a man, paying a lot of money for a child? Love Ma was dumbfounded. 100 million? This guy was completely crazy. In this technological age, was it so hard to get a child? Also, what was up with this woman's picture? Where did he find this vixen? What do you know? Xia Ping looked at Love Ma with disdain. Paying a lot of money for a child was a classic trick in his previous world. Basically, there were very few places that did not have small advertisements. That was because it was a classic scam that combined greed and lust, attracting countless hot-headed men to fall for it. To be honest, he had almost wanted to call them back then, not for the money, but because he wanted to help others and save people from the sea of suffering. This was the traditional virtue of the Chinese people. As for the beautiful woman picture above, he naturally had Corinne synthesize it. He had gathered the advantages of most of the beautiful women in the universe to create a beautiful woman picture, which was guaranteed to attract a lot of people's attention. At the thought of this, Xia Ping ignored Emma and immediately posted the advertisement. At the same time, he spent 10 million universe credits to post it on various major media websites and pop-up windows to countless users. You're crazy. You spent 10 million on advertising just to get a child. What are you trying to do? Love Ma yelled. She felt that this guy was wasting his money. She could not understand such a prodigal behavior. If he had a lot of money, why didn't he give it to her? She looked at Xia Ping more and more like she was looking at an idiot. As the saying goes, money is power. In an instant, this pop-up advertisement was seen by countless virtual network users, and it caused 1,000 ripples. That was because this advertisement was really too unique. First of all, no one had ever advertised to get a child. Second, the bounty amount was frightening. It was as high as 100 million universe credits. Finally, the person who posted the bounty was actually a rich woman, and she was so beautiful that she was bubbling. This alarmed countless people. F***ck, crazy, really crazy. There's actually a rich woman who's willing to spend a lot of money to get a child. She even put up a bounty of 100 million, regardless of race or age, as long as the child is healthy. Someone saw this advertisement and was stunned. He had never thought that there would be such an advertisement in the universe. Spending 100 million to get a child. 100 million, how long would that take? It would take countless years to buy 10 steamed buns a day. Many people were immediately alarmed by this advertisement. Websites of all sizes spread like a plague. Countless netizens were discussing this advertisement that had suddenly appeared. This was like viral marketing. F***ck, a bounty of 100 million. How is this a large sum of money to get a child? It's clearly looking for a boy. This rich woman is lonely and wants to find a man. She wants to have 3,000 men. Someone shouted. What he saw wasn't a large sum of money to get a child, but a rich woman looking for a man to sleep with. The morals of the world are degenerating day by day. People aren't like the old days. Why have women become like this? They actually put up a bounty on the internet to find a man. How shameless can they be? Isn't this making her husband a cuckold in front of everyone? Some people were filled with righteous indignation. Everyone, don't fall for it. How can there be such a good thing in this world? Look at this rich woman's chest, her legs, her waist, her looks. Does she look like she's lacking men? Some people felt that this advertisement was very suspicious and advised everyone not to act rashly and fall for it. How could such a beautiful woman need a man and a large sum of money to get a child? No matter how they looked at it, it was very abnormal. That's impossible. Just this advertisement alone has spread so far and cost at least 10 million. Who would have so much money to do such a scam? Isn't this bullsh**t? Moreover, there's some integrity law firm as a guarantee. If it's fake, we can still get compensation. No matter how you look at it, we won't lose out. Right, that integrity law firm. Just by looking at its name, you can tell that it's trustworthy. No matter what, as men, there's no reason for us to lose out. Everyone discussed animatedly. They also felt that this matter was a little suspicious. However, no matter how they thought about it, they didn't feel that there was anything about this advertisement that would make them lose out. Could it be that the beautiful rich woman wanted to scam them? If that was the case, they would be very happy and couldn't ask for more. A group of people laughed sinisterly as if they could see the rich woman lying in their arms. Right, this rich woman is vicious. Everyone, don't fall for it. Someone else shouted. In fact, I can see the evil intentions of this advertisement immediately. It's obvious that she wants to use money and beauty to corrode our men's fighting spirit. She wants us to sink into a sea of gentleness and be unable to extricate ourselves. She wants us to be decadent for the rest of our lives and become a gigolo that depends on a rich woman. Oh right, I suddenly remembered that I have something to do. I won't accompany you guys to chat. F***ck, slut. You're just a homebody who plays games online all day. What the F***ck do you have to do now? You're definitely going to call a rich woman. Someone cursed loudly as if he was very familiar with that kid. It's none of your business. I don't want to work hard anymore. I want to find a rich woman to support me. Am I wrong? That person said disdainfully. Chapter 2151. Shameless, a group of good-for-nothings. Someone was filled with righteous indignation, As a man, you should work hard and not engage in these crooked ways. What kind of ability is it to be raised by a rich woman? Of course, the reason why I want to make this call is not because of the money, but mainly because I want to help others. Because a rich woman like her has everything, but her husband is incompetent and she is very lonely. I can't bear to see a woman lonely and suffering, so I want to help her. As for money and so on, let fate decide. F***ck, you sanctimonious B***tch, you speak in such a dignified manner, but you have taken a fancy to the beauty of a rich woman. Many people despised him. To be honest, the beauty of the rich woman in the photo was really amazing. If it was released, she would be a princess of a royal family or a saintess of a major sect. She was the kind of beautiful goddess-like figure. Such a goddess could not be picked up by them with money, but now there was actually a reward of 100 million to ask for a child. This was simply a once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity. It was simply a pie falling from the sky. Even if it was not for 100 million, just to get intimate with her, they had to make this call. Of course, with so many people talking and not being moved, there were also many people who had doubts in their hearts. However, there were also many people who were moved and had strong motivation. Immediately, many people called this number to make contact. Not long after, thousands of calls came in. If it was in ancient times, this would certainly be busy, but with an artificial intelligence like Corinne in this place, it was easy to answer tens of thousands of calls at the same time. Not to mention tens of thousands of calls, even millions of calls were just child's play. Hello, is this Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe? I am strong, and that thing's specialty is especially in line with your requirements. Can you hire me? Moreover, my price is not high. It doesn't need 100 million, 50 million is also fine. Someone immediately called in an attempt to get rich overnight, or even get both money and beauty. Hello, this is Lawyer Dadong of the Integrity Law Firm. What can I help you with? Xia Ping replied. Why not Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe? Where is the rich woman? Where did the rich woman go? Let her come out to answer the phone? That person was immediately displeased. I'm sorry, Miss Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe has entrusted this matter to our Integrity Law Firm. If you have anything, you can discuss it with us. If you pass the verification, you will definitely be able to see Miss Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe. Xia Ping said. So that's how it is. If that's the case, let's hurry up and pass. I feel that I'm very suitable for Miss Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe's conditions. It's definitely going to be me, cried the man, trying to pass at once. It's like this. Although Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe spent a lot of money to get a child, she also hoped to give birth to a healthy baby, so she entrusted us to do a health check on you. This is not too much. Xia Ping said. It's not too much, not at all. I understand your concerns very well. If there's any hereditary disease, it's indeed not a very good thing. In fact, I've had a physical examination at the hospital before, and I guarantee that there's nothing wrong with my body, and there's no history of hereditary diseases in my family. That person was full of confidence, expressing that his genes were absolutely good. Well, it's not up to you to say it yourself. We still need professionals to check it to be sure. After all, some of them may be falsifying. Xia Ping said with a serious face. Indeed, this is not impossible, but how should you check my body? Asked the man. This is simple. Just do a health check directly on the virtual network. Xia Ping said, however, because many professional equipment and many medical experts are needed to carry out the measurement, I'm afraid you'll have to pay 10,000 universe dollars as a fee for the physical examination. What? I still need to pay for this? The man was shocked. He didn't expect such a thing to happen. What kind of medical examination fee did he need to pay? This is a matter of course. Xia Ping said matter-of-factly. Do you think we don't need money for the physical examination? There's so much specialized equipment and so many doctors from famous families. That rich woman won't spend this kind of money. To tell you the truth, $10,000 is nothing. If you pass the examination, you'll get 100 million. Maybe you'll even get both money and sex. This is a profitable business. But isn't $10,000 too much for the physical examination fee? The man hesitated for a moment, still feeling a little pained. 10,000 universe dollars was not a small amount. Too much? Then forget it. If you can't even afford this little money, how can you be worthy of Miss Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe? You must be a poor man with a genetic disease. That's it. I'm still a little busy. I have to receive the next person. Goodbye. Xia Ping didn't waste any time and wanted to hang up the phone. He knew that he wanted to cheat. He didn't give the other party time to think at all and ended the battle quickly. Otherwise, when the other party came back to his senses, something fishy would definitely happen. Moreover, if the other party really discovered something, it proved that the other party was a smart person. Continuing to cheat would not gain anything. Immediately hanging up the phone would save time and effort. After all, a liar would only deceive fools with low IQs. There was no need to deceive people with high IQs and vigilance. This was the so-called cost of a liar. Hearing this, the man became anxious. He felt that if he hung up the phone, he might miss out on 100 million. He didn't dare to bargain and immediately shouted, "Okay, it's only 10,000 universe dollars. I'll pay." He felt that if he didn't make a small fortune, he wouldn't make a big fortune. This was just an advance investment. Moreover, if he went to a hospital outside for a physical examination, the amount would probably be a considerable figure. Very good. My bank account number is XXXX. You can transfer the money over. We'll arrange for your physical examination soon. Xia Ping said a bank account number. Okay, I'll do it now. The man was very excited. In one breath, he immediately transferred the money over. Right, when will my examination start? We still need to mobilize manpower and all kinds of equipment. 3 days. After 3 days, we'll arrange for a unified examination. Xia Ping casually set a date. Anyway, after hanging up the phone, they would not see each other again. Okay, then see you in 3 days. The man was extremely excited. His face was flushed. He felt that the beautiful super-rich woman seemed to be taking off her clothes and lying on the bed with a charming face waiting for him. There was also 100 million waving at him. It wouldn't be long before he could reach the peak of his life and become the richest man in the universe. He might even be able to take the opportunity to capture the heart of the rich woman. At the same time, he could seize all the property of the rich man who had been cuckolded by him. Haha, stupid rich man. What's the use of earning so much money all day? If your health isn't good after you die, you'll still be working for me. The man was proud and felt that he was about to strike it rich. Chapter 2152. Naturally, Xia Ping couldn't deal with so many calls. Fortunately, he had the help of Corinne, an artificial intelligence. After learning Xia Ping's behavior pattern, he could copy it and know how to deal with those people who called. Although there were so many people who called, not every one of them would be fooled, and each of them would pay 10,000 universe dollars for the examination fee, but 1 out of 100 would be considered a profit. Moreover, this was still a pure profit, and there was no need to spend any cost. It could be regarded as a small capital with great profit. Beep, beep, phone calls came one after another, and it was simply overwhelming. The effect of this advertisement was so good that it was bursting. Hello, is this Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe? May I ask if the photo is a real person? You haven't altered the photo, right? If it's the wrong version, I won't come. What? You are not Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe, but the integrity law firm in charge of reception. You want me to believe in your integrity, and that you are absolutely not deceiving anyone? Are you kidding me? You actually need a physical examination, and you have to pay 10,000 universe dollars for the physical examination. You must be crazy thinking about money. What? If you don't pay, then get lost. You are not qualified to participate in the selection. So tough, so overbearing. Wait, I'll pay the money, okay? Brother lawyer, don't be angry. I was just joking. If you don't let me pay, I'll be angry with you. Some of these phone calls were curious about whether this advertisement was real or fake, and wanted to call to probe. They were very curious about who had made such a big movement. Some wanted to become rich overnight and obtain $100 million universe dollars. No matter what, once they completed the mission, they would immediately obtain $100 million universe dollars. This was not a small amount, and many people would not be able to earn that much in their entire lives. Some did not do it for money, but to get intimate with a rich woman. They wanted to be kept by a rich woman because the beauty in the picture was too attractive, and could make countless men kneel under her skirt. In short, there were people with all kinds of purposes. In just one day, Corinne received tens of millions of phone calls. If it was not an artificial intelligence, perhaps it would not be able to handle so many messages at the same time. Among so many people, some did not believe in Corinne, and some could not come up with 10,000 universe dollars, but there was also 1% who believed and chose to pay 10,000 universe dollars as the physical examination fee. In other words, at least 100,000 people had paid 10,000 universe dollars, scamming $1 billion universe dollars in one day. No wonder there were so many swindlers in my previous life. Earning money is just too easy. Seeing this number, Xia Ping couldn't help but sigh. No wonder there were so many swindlers in my previous life. This was because there was no cost at all to publish such an advertisement. All it took was the printing fee and pasted it on the streets and alleys. However, if 1 or 10 people in the vast sea of people were fooled, they could earn more than 100,000 yuan. If this wasn't a profitable business, what was? Of course, this amount of money was nothing to Xia Ping right now. It was just to complete the mission and gain the recognition of the illusory race's higher-ups. Emma, who was watching from the side, was dumbfounded. Crazy, these people are really crazy. How can they trust you so much and transfer the money over obediently? If Emma hadn't seen this scene with her own eyes, she wouldn't have believed such a fact. In just one day, this kid earned $1 billion universe dollars. It was as if it wasn't money, but hell's money. Previously, she was worried that Barty would lose this dating bet, but now that she saw it, how could he lose? He earned $1 billion in one day. Was there still a need to gamble? Victory could be declared right now. Even if she exhausted her imagination, she still couldn't believe that such a thing would actually happen. There was really someone who would cry and shout to send his money over, for fear that others wouldn't want it. If Jacob, the mission hall supervisor, saw this scene, he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. This is human nature. Man's greed is boundless. Xia Ping said indifferently. This. Emma was speechless. In fact, if she was the one who didn't know about this scene, she would probably be fooled because it was too deceptive. Even the other party's payment of 10,000 universe dollars was very legitimate. There was no reason to refuse. After all, who didn't need to undergo a physical examination when praying for a child? Who didn't need a physical examination? What if there was a genetic disease or physical disease? If he refused, it would be his fault. It would be his own fault. Moreover, this was 10,000 universe dollars for a bet of 100 million. Anyone with a little bit of greed wouldn't be able to bear such a YouTube. The first day passed quickly, and on the second day, the number of calls was 10 times more than before. Not only were the humans calling, but there were also many people from other races who called to probe. Such an advertisement had a great attraction to countless poor people. Even on the third day, the number of calls was even more explosive, reaching an unprecedented peak. Even Corinne almost couldn't handle it. It was so explosive that it scared people to death. This was because this matter had extremely enthusiastic responses and replies in all the major forums in the universe. Did you hear? A rich woman advertised, openly looking for a prostitute, offering a reward of 100 million. What? It must be that kind of fat woman. I won't sleep with that kind of person no matter how much money she has. It will leave a psychological shadow. That's right. I will never sell my man's dignity. Shut up, that is not a 300 kilograms fat woman, but a great beauty with a protruding front and a curvaceous back. At first glance, I can tell that she is a vixen, the kind of mistress. She simply makes me feel pity for her. This kind of beauty can support the entire brothel. My God, she is really beautiful. Does such a beauty also want to look for a prostitute? Who knows what these perverted rich women are thinking? Maybe she wants to recruit 3,000 handsome men, just like men, choosing concubines everywhere. Her interests are extremely vile. To tell you the truth, I couldn't stand this temptation, so I directly called her. As a result, the other party told me to take part in a medical examination 3 days later. If I pass the medical examination, I will have the opportunity to get intimate with her. Is it true or false? I am really envious and jealous. Everyone discussed spiritedly. Many people spoke out, and they became even more fanatical. They didn't care whether this matter was true or false, and quickly joined the ranks. My God, this is simply robbery. No, even if it is robbery, it is impossible to earn so much money. Small capital and huge profits are not enough to describe this madness. Emma was thoroughly convinced by Xia Ping. On the first day, he only earned 1 billion, but on the second day, his performance was off the charts, earning no less than 10 billion. On the third day, it was even more frightening, earning 30 billion universe coins. In just 3 days, she felt that this kid's assets were already comparable to that of an ordinary Thunder Retribution Realm expert. She had never seen such a crazy method of making money in her life. Those people were like idiots, constantly transferring their money into Xia Ping's bank account. They were afraid that Xia Ping wouldn't accept it, so they cursed, fearing that they would lose 100 million. Chapter 2153. What do you plan to do next? Love Ma asked. She was already completely convinced. Things had already come to this point, and she had undoubtedly won the bet. That mission hall supervisor Jacob was dead for sure. No one could save him. She calmed down and was very curious about Barty's actions. What else can I plan? Of course, I'll quit while I'm ahead. Are we going to continue? Xia Ping waved his hand. He had already earned so much money and could complete the mission. If he continued, he would definitely be seen through. A swindler who didn't know when to quit would suffer sooner or later. But won't someone else call? Emma said. Who cares who calls? Turn it off and scrap the phone. Xia Ping indicated that it didn't matter. In the age of the internet, the cost of escaping was very low. As long as he scrapped the phone, no one would be able to find him. I understand. I'll report this to the patriarch. You'll definitely be appreciated by him, Emma said in a low voice. Love Ma said in a low voice. She had already completely trusted Xia Ping and treated him as a true talent. To be able to do something like this, there probably weren't many in the entire Lawrence family who could compare to Barty. It's no big deal. I'll go report right away and complete the year-end mission. Xia Ping nodded. At this time, the spread of the advertisement was getting more and more heated. It reached almost every corner of the universe, letting many people know about it. We're rich. We're rich this time. Yeah. Once we pass the physical examination, we'll get 100 million. Who knows, we might even get the heart of a rich woman. We'll get both the woman and the money. This is a great opportunity to get rich overnight. But with so many people signing up, we might not have a chance. That depends on your own ability. After all, you need a certain level of strength to get rich overnight. Many people were proud, as if they had struck it rich. They would soon get 100 million, win the heart of a rich woman, and reach the pinnacle of life, completely changing their fate. However, there were also people who sensed something was wrong and tried to dissuade them. I think there's something fishy about this. Offering 100 million for a child, it feels strange no matter how you look at it. Even if you want to have children, 100 million is too much. That's right. 1 million is completely enough. 100 million is too much. Also, look at that rich woman. She's so beautiful. Even if she doesn't use money, there's still a bunch of men who want to get intimate with her. How can there be no men who want such a woman? Indeed, I think it's better for you to be more careful. There's no such big toad jumping on the streets in this world. Some people felt that there was something fishy about this. Perhaps it was a trap, and it was better not to believe it so easily. Get lost, you're just a bunch of vile people who are jealous of our riches. She's a rich woman with an eccentric personality. Who knows what she's thinking? Maybe she likes the feeling of choosing a concubine in public. What do you know? You bunch of people, all you do is destroy and not build. You just can't bear to see others get rich, right? You only know how to pour cold water here all day. If this is true and we've been stopped by you, we've lost 100 million yuan. Can you compensate us? That's right, that's right. This matter has the protection of that honest lawyer. With the backing of the law, how could it be fake? We'll know once we call them. They're professional. One look and you can tell that it's the style of a big family. If you don't investigate, you don't have the right to speak. Did you call and ask? You only know how to make assumptions here. That's right. Now so many people are calling and paying to do things. Are so many people stupid? Don't talk nonsense here. If you dare to be arrogant again, I'll beat you up until half of your bodies are paralyzed. Hearing this, not only were many people not grateful, but they also weren't convinced. Instead, they started cursing. They felt that these people were simply jealous and had ulterior motive. They were trying to reduce the number of competitors. The group of people was furious. They had kindly reminded those people not to be fooled. They didn't expect that they would come and criticize them. They thought that they were jealous, had ulterior motives, and were jealous of the virtuous. This was simply a dog biting Lu Dongbin. They didn't know what was good for them. For a moment, both sides were in a heated argument. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Many people who had paid for the physical examination finally realized that something was wrong. They realized that the honest lawyer firm and the rich woman didn't send anyone to contact them at all. Even when they called them, they found that the number was already out of service. It had been scrapped. ****, what's going on? Why can't I get through to this number? And it's an out-of-service number? Many people discovered something fishy and immediately became anxious. They realized that they couldn't contact the honest lawyer firm. Where did the honest lawyer firm go? Didn't they say that they were very honest and trustworthy? That they would compensate if there were any problems? Why can't they be contacted? Do you even need to ask? They must have run away. Those bastards are scammers. My God, I paid 10,000 universe dollars for the physical examination. Now it's all gone down the drain? Impossible. How could such a thing happen? I don't believe this is fake. There's a lawyer as a guarantee. How could it be a scam? That's right. Maybe there are too many people calling, causing the phone line to be busy. If we call again, it might get through. Don't scare yourselves. Everyone finally came to their senses. Everyone was panicking and didn't know what to do. Some people still weren't willing to accept the cruel fact that they had been scammed. Many people frantically called the number, but it was of no use. The number had long been scrapped. After calling it, it was busy recording. No one answered. At this time, they finally accepted the fact that they had been scammed and that the scammers had absconded with the money. Otherwise, it was impossible that no one could get through to this number. I've long said that those bastards are scammers, asking for children with a large sum of money, offering a reward of 100 million, and talking about a beautiful rich woman. It's all fake. How can there be such a big pie falling from the sky in this world? Someone said in grief and indignation, Those scammers clearly wanted to cheat us of 10,000 universe dollars for the physical examination. That's why they made up such a big lie. Their goal was to lure us in. He regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. Although he also vaguely felt that there was something wrong with this matter, and was a little skeptical about whether it was true or not, he was blinded by 100 million yuan and a beautiful rich woman, so he hoped that he would get lucky. But now, even the phone couldn't get through. Those scammers had run away. Only then did he truly realize that he had been scammed. Chapter 2154. That's right. Why would such a beautiful rich woman need a lot of money for a child? Just open her legs and who knows how many men will want to sleep with her. Why would she need to spend 100 million? Isn't that bullshit? There were also some who finally came to a complete realization and came to a complete realization. Now it sounds better than a song. Why didn't you say it back then? Instead, you ran to make the call first. You were afraid that someone would take your position and couldn't wait to pay the money. Isn't this because I was blinded by lard? If that's the case, I'll be able to get rich overnight. I'll even be able to sleep with a beautiful rich woman and get intimate with her. That group of swindlers made use of our mentality. That's why they dared to set up such a scam. There's no trust between people in this world. Who can I trust? Everyone was filled with grief and anger. They clenched their fists and wanted nothing more than to catch that group of swindlers, beat them up, and dismember them. No one could imagine how angry they were. They had lost all faith. Find that group of swindlers and find that honest law firm. Didn't they say that there was some legal protection and that they would compensate if there were any problems? Why are they running now? Someone shouted in grief and anger. His face was flushed red. It was obvious that he was furious. Do you even need to ask? That honest law firm is in cahoots with swindlers. I checked carefully just now. There's no such law firm in the universe. It's all made up. In other words, even if we want to find this law firm to ask for compensation, there's no way because we can't find them in person. Someone gritted his teeth. He realized that this *T law firm was a knockoff law firm. It didn't even have an office. It was purely made up. They said it was just an honest law firm. F***. This dog was more dishonest than anyone else. Even the name was fake. Shameless swindlers. Give me back my hard-earned money. You cheated me of $10,000. Don't you have PI eyes when you give birth? That's $10,000. I worked hard for half a year to save up. Now it's all gone. Boo-hoo, I don't want to play with a rich woman. I don't want 100 million. Hurry up and give me back the medical examination fee. I don't want to play anymore. Me too. Give me back my money. I will never believe these things on the internet in my life. None of them are good. They are all liars. This society is too dark. Call the police immediately, catch those swindlers, and make them spit out all the money. It's too late. What's the use of calling the police? Those F***king swindlers have already run away. How can we find them? That's right. Right now, we don't even know his name or what he looks like. How can we catch such a swindler? We don't have any clues. Many of the victims wanted to cry but had no tears. Only now did they realize how big of a mistake they had made. They clearly didn't even know the other party's name, appearance, residence, or background. However, they actually foolishly believed the beautiful words of the swindlers and obediently transferred the money over. There was no doubt about it, nor was there any contract. It was all because of the huge bounty of 100 million and the fact that the beautiful rich woman had blinded them, so they didn't realize that they were in a scam. Greed was the death of a person. After hearing this news, those who felt that there was something fishy about this matter immediately laughed. Haha, I already said that there wouldn't be such a good thing in this world. It's like a pie falling from the sky. A rich woman spending 100 million to beg for a child. Only you could think of such a thing and even believe it. Previously, we kindly advised you not to be scammed. I didn't expect you to call us villains, saying that we were jealous and afraid that you would earn 100 million. Now, are you still jealous? There's no cure for stupidity. You can't even see through such a simple scam. I can only say that you deserve to lose money. That's so satisfying. Are you still pretending? Do you still want to get rich overnight? Do you still want to get both the woman and the money? Now, it's like drawing water with a sieve. You are simply a joke. Don't always think about getting rich overnight. Money is so easy to earn. How can there be poor people in the world? Everyone was proud and laughed at those who had been scammed. Not only did they not sympathize, but they also hit them when they were down. They felt that these people deserved it. After all, they had warned them before, but not a single person believed them. Instead, they were thought to be jealous and jealous. This made them very angry. Hearing these words, those who had been scammed were even angrier. Their faces were flushed red, but they could not say anything. They were so angry that they hated the scammers even more. Immediately, the phones of the police stations on the nearby planets exploded with calls. They all expressed that they wanted to catch and punish the damned scammers. The police of the major planets also paid great attention to this case. They said that this was an unprecedented scam. The amount of money scammed was very high, and the scope of the scam was very wide. The number of people involved and the amount was so large that it made people's hair stand on end. Even so, it was still very difficult to solve this case. At this time, the illusion also spread the news. Xia Ping had submitted the mission, indicating that he had completed it completely. Moreover, he had completed it more than expected. What? The scam of using a large sum of money to beg for a child that has been causing a stir on the internet recently was done by Barty? After hearing the news, many people from the Illusion tribe were dumbfounded. That's right. This guy has already gone to the Hall of Missions to submit the mission. Many elders went to investigate and confirmed that it was indeed done by him. I heard that he earned tens of billions. My God, he earned tens of billions? What kind of joke is this? Do you really think money just grows on trees? It's true. The elders also went to investigate. At the time, many of them were green with envy. They simply couldn't believe it. How could they believe it? That's tens of billions. Even the entire net worth of a Thunder Tribulation Realm elder might not be that much. This Barty has really turned things around. Damn Barty, scammer Barty. I was scammed before too. I thought that the large sum of money to beg for a child was real, so I stupidly went to pay up and got scammed of 10,000 universe credits. Shameless Barty, pay me back immediately. No way. You fell for this kind of scam? Aren't you a scammer too? Sigh, it's hard to guard against thieves day and night. Who would have thought that we'd be scammed by our own people? Luckily, the losses weren't that great. Otherwise, I would have wanted to jump off a building. Many people from the Illusion tribe were discussing this matter. They were all very shocked. They had never thought that this scam that shocked the universe was actually done by Barty. Please remember this book's original domain name. Mobile version website. Chapter 2155. By the way, didn't Barty make a bet with Jacob, the supervisor of the mission hall? I heard they even signed a contract with the illusory. Neither side can violate it. Someone suddenly thought of this matter. That's right. Now that you mention it, I also remember. Barty did sign a contract with Jacob. If Barty can't complete the mission, he'll lose all his wealth and have to eat 10 tons of shit. My God. If that's the case, doesn't that mean Jacob lost? Not only will he become a pauper, but he'll also become the laughingstock of the illusory. His name will go down in history. That goes without saying. He swindled tens of billions. If Barty doesn't win, is there any justice in this world? Jacob is so pitiful. Even if he's a Thunder Tribulation Realm powerhouse and has a high status, he can't violate the illusory contract. Otherwise, he'll die. Who would have thought Barty would be so cruel? Swindling money is as easy as drinking water. I told you Barty is a dragon among men. He's not an ordinary person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have signed such a bet. You guys didn't believe me. That's all in hindsight. Why didn't you say anything before? Now that he's so arrogant, you're bragging here. Many people were discussing this. They were gloating over Jacob's misfortune. Unless Jacob wanted to die, he wouldn't violate the illusory contract. Of course, they didn't believe Jacob would really commit suicide. After all, he had lived for so long and had a bright future. How could he die so easily? In short, after this incident, Jacob was completely finished. He would become a laughingstock and a negative example. At this time, in a villa in the illusory realm, it was the home of Jacob, the supervisor of the mission hall. At this time, many illusory elders had already surrounded the place. There were 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. They had laid down an inescapable net and were waiting to prevent Jacob from escaping and violating the illusory contract. Is there a need for such a big fight? Seeing this, Jacob's face turned green. He completely extinguished the thought of escaping from the illusory realm. Sorry, Jacob. I'm just following orders. You signed the illusory contract. It's sacred and inviolable. Even saints can't violate it. You lost the bet this time, so you have to fulfill your promise even if you die, a disciplinary elder said. A law enforcement elder spoke. His tone was solemn, his face expressionless, and he was impartial. That's impossible. That little bastard, how could he earn more than 1 billion so quickly? There must be something fishy going on. He must have cheated. Based on that little bastard's ability, how could he have done such a thing? Go investigate, immediately investigate if that bastard has any signs of cheating. Jacob was exasperated. We've already checked, from the inside out. We didn't find any signs of cheating. Plus, he didn't just earn 1 billion. He earned tens of billions, far more than the contract he signed with you. Now, he's a big shot in the magic race, and the higher-ups highly value him. All right, I won't waste any more words with you. According to the contents of the contract, everything you own that is worth more than 1 universe coin will be seized and sold to Barty. He waved his hand, and the people around him immediately began to seize all of Jacob's assets. No, no, no. I worked hard for thousands of years, maybe even tens of thousands of years to accumulate wealth. You can't just seize it all like this. It's all mine. All mine. Jacob was furious. His eyes were bloodshot, and he wanted to stop them. With a smack, the law enforcement elder waved his hand and slapped Jacob. A Saint Tier talisman flew out, turning into many sequence chains. In the next second, Jacob was tied up like a dumpling. All of his powers were completely sealed as well. He was lying on the ground like a worm, without any strength. No, no, no. Jacob cried out. He could only watch helplessly as the group of people completely emptied his home. Even the treasures in his space ring were not spared. This was not as simple as being robbed. It was like plucking feathers from a goose. Not even a screw was spared. Aside from the clothes he was wearing, everything was taken away. He felt like his heart was being cut by a knife. It was as if someone had cut his flesh and blood. All of his years of accumulation was gone. He was now penniless. Barty, you be *tch. You damned little bastard. You deserve to be sliced 1,000 times. You and I are absolutely irreconcilable. I won't rest until you die. Just you wait, just you wait. Jacob shouted at the top of his lungs and was extremely savage. His hatred towards Xiaoping had risen to the limit, and he simply wished for nothing more than to annihilate this bastard's entire family and tear him into pieces. Only then would he be able to vent the hatred in his heart. There's still the second part of the contract. If you lose the contract, you must eat a ton of *T. Why don't you complete the contract now? We'll send someone to watch over you. If you don't eat a bite, it won't be considered complete. The law enforcement elder was expressionless as he announced the second part of the contract. Wait, I'm joking about this. Eat a ton of sh*t? I'll never admit to that. It's ridiculous. I won't eat it even if you beat me to death. I'd rather die than eat something like that. Hearing this, Jacob's face turned green as he panicked. If he could turn back time, he hoped that this would never happen. Even if he was beaten to death, he would never sign such a stupid contract and become a laughingstock for all eternity. But it was too late now. There was no medicine for regret in this world. You have signed the contract. You must complete it even if you die. It's not up to you. This is an iron law. Not even saints can violate it. The law enforcement elder was murderous. Come on, Elder Jacob. Don't worry. We added chili sauce on it. A group of law enforcement officers said. Chili sauce my ass. Do you think you can eat it with chili sauce? Get out of here. Stop. You demons, stop. I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat it. Sob. Jacob's face was twisted as he struggled to resist. But it was useless. The law enforcement officers immediately stepped forward and forced the sh*t in. This scene was simply heartbreaking. After eating a ton of sh*t, the originally high-spirited and arrogant Jacob's eyes were completely gray. His aura was dispirited as he lay on the ground, motionless. He looked as if he had been gang-raped by hundreds of men. He felt like his heart had died. Please remember this book's original domain name. Mobile version. Chapter 2156. Currently, in a luxurious villa in the fantasy realm. Dong. An exquisite glass was smashed on the ground, shattering on the spot. And the owner of the glass cup was Chris. At this time, the injuries on his body were more or less healed, because the family's internal healing pills were pretty good. The problem was that his physical injuries had healed, but his mental injuries hadn't healed at all. Because he had been beaten up by Xia Ping in front of the mission hall, and in front of everyone at that, he had become the laughingstock of the family. He was ridiculed by the other direct family members. One had to know that Barty was just a clown for him to amuse himself. But now, Barty had beaten him and his lackeys up, humiliating him. It could be said that he even had the intention to wipe out Xia Ping's entire family. Damn that Barty! That bastard! He actually managed to turn things around and even won the bet. Chris roared angrily. He was furious to the extreme. Originally, when he heard about the bet between Xia Ping and Jacob, he was overjoyed. He thought that Barty was dead for sure. After this, he would definitely become a pauper. He might even drop from his position as a noble and become an ant-like commoner. When that time came, he could take revenge however he wanted. He could crush Barty to death however he wanted. But before Chris could be happy for a few days, he found out that the kid had actually turned things around. He had swindled Jacob out of tens of billions in one go. He had even made Jacob go bankrupt and suffer heavy losses, turning him into a madman. When he thought about how that clown-like figure from back then had skyrocketed to become a person above all others, and how he would have to look up to him in the future and bow and scrape to him, he couldn't help but feel angry. Boss, we can't let that Barty continue to run wild. One of the lackeys on the side shouted. That bastard had a fortuitous encounter and advanced to the returning truth realm. He became so arrogant that he even beat up someone as honorable as you, boss, without giving you any face. Now, he has obtained tens of billions and all the wealth of Jacob, a Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouse. This is no less than a heaven-shaking fortuitous encounter. From now on, he will be able to pay it all back. That's right. That's a lot of money. It's billions. Even the most beloved heir of the Leinster family wouldn't have that much money. If he used this money to buy all kinds of pills and spirit herbs, he would be able to advance to the Thunder Tribulation Realm and become an elder of our illusion race. If you use it to buy magic treasures, you will be able to arm yourself to the teeth. Damn it! That Barty is really going to turn things around. From now on, we might not even be able to call him Lord Barty anymore. He's high and mighty, and we're no longer on the same level. Many of Barty's lackeys were envious, jealous, and hateful. Before, they had ignored Barty, but in the blink of an eye, they were no longer worthy of him. They were no longer on the same level. They were green with jealousy over Barty's adventures. Shut up. A clown like you wants to soar into the sky and ride on my head from now on? Don't even dream about it. Barty gritted his teeth. But we can't do anything to him. He's now the most popular person in the Lawrence family. Maybe he's even been recognized by the head of the Lawrence family. His rise is inevitable. Some of the lackeys were helpless. Rise? What a joke. He'd have to be alive to do that. Barty clenched his fists with a murderous aura. Many of the lackeys could feel the terrifying murderous intent on Barty's body. It was simply chilling. Barty was like a demon right now. On the other hand, in Barty's home in Lawrence City. Barty, congratulations. You've now become a celebrity in the illusion race. Elder Emma looked at Xia Ping with a complicated expression. She had never thought something like this would happen. After completing the year-end mission and swindling billions of universe dollars, Xia Ping had already become the most popular person in the Lawrence family. Many elders and children of the family wanted to get to know Barty and build a good relationship. Most importantly, this group of people had their eyes on Xia Ping's wealth and wanted a share of it. They all harbored malicious intentions. However, Xia Ping rejected all of their efforts. He refused to answer any calls. Thinking of this, she remembered about Jacob. She couldn't help but remind him, but I'm afraid it's not a good thing to offend Jacob like this. He might take revenge. Although Jacob was now a pauper, even a broken ship had 3 nails. Plus, he was a Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouse. It was a relatively simple matter for him to accumulate wealth quickly. Moreover, a crazy Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouse was incomparably terrifying. They could do anything. Any junior would feel like sitting on pins and needles when faced with a Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouse. What a joke. Do you think that Jacob won't take revenge if I give up that contract? Xia Ping asked in return. This. Elder Emma was stunned for a moment. That was indeed the case. Jacob was famous for seeking revenge for the smallest grievance. If Barty had lost this bet, he would definitely have been hit while he was down and humiliated to the extreme. Even if Barty gave up the bet, Jacob probably wouldn't feel the slightest bit of gratitude. He might even think that Barty was weak and easy to bully. People were just like that. It's just a small matter. Did you do what I asked you to do? Xia Ping looked at Emma. You want to become a treasury guard? I see. I've already reported this to the family head, Sophia. The family head knows about what you've done recently and is very interested in you. He wants to meet you. Emma said in a low voice. Meet him? Xia Ping frowned. He was still a little afraid of meeting the immortal sage in the illusion race. After all, he wasn't a member of the illusion race. Some of his flaws might be seen through. If possible, he hoped to keep a low profile and quietly steal the treasures from the illusion race's treasury. What? Are you not willing? Don't you know how great of an honor it is for the family head to summon you? If the family head appreciates you, you won't get any benefits. Just a little bit of information and you'll be able to enjoy it for the rest of your life. Emma was very discontented when she saw Xia Ping's expression. Normally, a member of the Lawrence family would be wild with joy when the patriarch summoned them. How could they be like this guy? He was actually frowning. This was outrageous. Of course not. I was just a little overjoyed and couldn't react in time. If the family head wants to see me, it's naturally my honor. Xia Ping said in a low voice. That's for the best. Emma snorted. She didn't want to pursue this matter any further. After all, this was only a small matter. Come with me now. The patriarch is already waiting for you at the Lawrence family's headquarters. Don't let the patriarch wait for too long. She waved her hand and let Xia Ping follow her to the core area of the Lawrence family headquarters. Chapter 2157. In the center of Lawrence City stood an ancient castle that occupied a vast area. This was also the core area of the entire Lawrence City. Saint Sophia lived in this place. Apart from that, many important members of the Lawrence family were also scattered in the buildings around the castle. At this moment, Xia Ping entered the ancient castle under Emma's lead. Many of the Lawrence family members saw Xia Ping as soon as he entered. "Look, isn't that Barty? Why is he at our family headquarters? Don't you know what happened recently? Barty did something earth-shattering and earned tens of billions. He's now a popular person among the magic tribe. Even the family head specially summoned him. Damn it. Barty was just a small character before. Anyone could bully him. I didn't think he'd turn things around now. Sigh, comparisons are really infuriating. Why wasn't I chosen by the family head? I'm afraid Barty will really soar to the sky from now on. It's very possible that he'll become an elder of the Lawrence family." Everyone discussed animatedly. They were all envious and jealous. They didn't think that a small character they'd looked down on before would turn things around all of a sudden. He'd grown into a character they could only be jealous of. The change was too fast. Under Emma's lead, Xia Ping soon arrived at a large hall in the deepest part of the ancient castle. There was no one here. It seemed to be the family's forbidden area. No one was allowed to go near it. This was where the family head of the Lawrence family resided. It was where the saints resided. Lord Family Head. At this moment, Emma stood outside the hall and called out. "Emma, is it? Come in now." A voice came from the depths of the hall. With a snap, the doors of the palace opened automatically. Whoosh whoosh. Xia Ping and Emma walked straight in. A woman wearing a long white dress appeared in front of them. Hm. Xia Ping's hair stood on end in an instant. He felt a great threat from the woman in the white dress in front of him. Her appearance seemed to be a bit similar to Emma's. However, their strength was completely different. She stood where she was, and her real body seemed to be a blurry shadow. With her body as the center, the space within a radius of 100 meters was distorted. The surrounding space seemed to be collapsing, and countless dimensional spaces were distorted. Without a doubt, this woman was not just an undying saint. Her cultivation base had probably surpassed the undying saint realm and reached the near-ancient saint realm. It was said that after reaching the ancient saint realm, they had already begun to comprehend the origin laws of the universe. The difference in strength between them and the immortal saint was like heaven and earth. They were more than 100 times stronger and were not existences that the immortal saint could compare to. Sometimes, out of 100 undying saints, there might not even be one who could reach the near-ancient saint realm. This was because to reach this realm, not only did one need a solid foundation, one also needed great comprehension and luck. Xia Ping could defeat and even use the reincarnation brush and other magic treasures to kill immortal sages. However, he had no confidence in dealing with near-ancient sages. If they really fought, Xia Ping would probably be killed in an instant. "Master, be careful. This woman is not simple. She has probably reached the level of an ancient saint." At this time, the green ox's voice also came over and warned, to reach the near-ancient saint realm, one must completely comprehend the power of the space law. This kind of person is simply a legend. Near-ancient sages can merge with the void at any time. Ordinary people cannot attack their bodies at all. A punch will only hit nothingness. After all, this kind of legendary person who has comprehended the space law can travel through countless dimensions with a single thought. They can travel hundreds of light years away and hide in the depths of dimensions. It is impossible to reach them. However, if they attack you, they can kill you with a single punch from countless dimensions away. This kind of difference is so great that it can't be measured by distance. In terms of combat power, undying saints can only carry the shoes of near-ancient sages. Space law. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Although he knew that near ancient sages' power was beyond imagination, he did not think that reaching this realm would require one to completely comprehend the space law. Near ancient sages who had comprehended the space law were unimaginably powerful. Patriarch Sophia, this is a clansman of the Lawrence family that I mentioned to you before. He is extremely intelligent and talented. He can be considered a promising talent of the Lawrence family. Emma immediately introduced Xiaoping to the lady in white, Sophia. Interesting. At this time, the woman in white smiled lightly. She seemed to have sensed something. You are only at the returning origin realm, yet you can perceive some of my secrets. It seems that you not only have a great encounter, but you are also overflowing with talent. Her eyes seemed to contain endless mysteries. Like lasers, she looked at Xiaoping from top to bottom. It was as if she could see through every corner of Xiaoping and see through all of his secrets. Nothing could be hidden in front of her. Xiaoping's hair stood up. He felt a great threat. He immediately wanted to counterattack, but he resisted. He was very confident in the power of the formless mask. He would not expose his secrets. Sure enough, after scanning for a while, the woman in white stopped probing. She seemed to think that she already knew Xiaoping like the back of her hand. After all, in her eyes, a mere returning Origin Realm Junior was not worth mentioning. The gap was too big. Probing him was already giving him a lot of face. Barty, I heard that you want to borrow the power of the Lawrence family to obtain the position of Treasury Guard? The woman in white, Sophia, asked. Yes, Patriarch. I heard that this position is a lucrative one. There are many benefits. Xiaoping admitted honestly. You are quite direct. You speak without any consideration for benefit. You are a straightforward person. The white-clothed woman, Sophia, chuckled. People like you are either loyal and honest, or you are evil and wicked. But it doesn't matter which kind of person you are. As long as you are a member of the Lawrence family, you will naturally be protected. Her words showed great confidence. No matter what kind of person Barty was, she could control him. Not because of anything else, but because of her invincible strength. She was a sage who had comprehended the law of space. She could easily crush all conspirators. If she was unhappy, she could destroy the enemy. It was as easy as breathing. Of course, the greater the benefits, the greater the price. The woman in white, Sophia, looked at Xiaoping. I heard that you are extremely smart. If you can complete the task I give you, then it is not impossible for you to become a treasury guard. Chapter 2158. Oh, I wonder what you need my help with? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows and asked. It's like this. Sophia said in a low voice, I have 3,000 commercial planets under me. I obtained them through some underhanded means. Of course, they have all the necessary procedures and are in line with the laws of various human countries. They are considered legal property. Now, I want to sell all of these planets and exchange them for universe dollars. I want to use them to buy all sorts of universe-grade materials. I plan to forge a high-grade sacred artifact to increase my strength. The problem is that a planet is very expensive. Ordinary people can't afford it. It's also very difficult to find someone to buy it. This matter has been delayed for many years, and I still haven't sold a single planet. Saying this, she paused. Of course, if I'm willing to sell them at a lower price, it's not that I can't find someone to buy them. The problem is that I don't want to suffer such a huge loss and be taken advantage of. So, I can't take it anymore. If you can help me solve this problem, it'll be easy for you to become a guard of the treasury or even a supervisor. She said that there were people from powerful organizations who wanted to buy these planets, but they were being forced to sell them at a low price. They were only willing to pay 50% of the market price. This meant that she had suffered a huge loss. If she sold them at such a price, she might not even be able to gather enough money to buy all sorts of materials. Sophia looked at Xiaoping, wanting to know what this kid had in mind. Boom! Before Xia Ping could speak, a spatial ripple appeared in the sky. A figure broke through space and seemed to pass through countless parallel spaces, arriving directly in the sky above the hall. With a whoosh, this person seemed to be fearless. He ignored all the restrictive formations in the castle and appeared in front of Xia Ping and the others. Another near-ancient saint. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He realized that the person who had arrived was a young man dressed in black. He was barehanded and emitted an unparalleled aura. It was unfathomable, and the space around him was distorted. Just this aura and magic power seemed to be stronger than Sophia. Barty, be careful. That's Minerva, the head of the Leinster family. He's a near-ancient sage, and he's no weaker than the head of Sophia. He's also one of the most powerful sages in the illusory tribe. At this time, Emma transmitted her divine sense, informing Xia Ping of this person's identity and background. He absolutely could not offend such a terrifying existence, or else he would die without a doubt. No one would be able to save him. The Leinster family? Could it be the terrifying existence behind Carrie's family? Xia Ping also asked using his divine sense. That's right. That Chris is indeed a member of the Leinster clan and seems to be one of Minerva's direct descendants. But Saint Minerva is so high up that he naturally wouldn't care about descendants as many as the stars in the sky. You don't have to worry about offending Minerva over such a small matter. You just have to be careful and be respectful, Emma warned. But why do I see that Patriarch Sophia's expression is very ugly, as if she doesn't like this Minerva? Xia Ping could see that Sophia was very displeased with this uninvited guest. It was as if she was trying to keep him at arm's length. That's normal. This Saint Minerva has been drooling over the head of the family for a very long time. He's used all kinds of methods to pursue you, but he's always been rejected by the head of the family. This has caused their relationship to be very bad. But this is the matter of the heads of the family, and it has nothing to do with us. Don't get involved, or you won't even know how you died. Emma let out a secret. Minerva, what do you mean by this? You're barging into my castle again. Are you treating my territory as your home? Sophia looked at Minerva with displeasure. Don't be angry, Sophia. What's our relationship? Isn't your home my home? It's only a matter of time. You don't have to be so distant and calculative. Minerva waved her hand. When I arrived at this castle just now, I seemed to hear you talking to this kid about selling 3,000 planets. What's wrong? You can't handle this matter, and you're asking a kid to help you? Does this kid have some kind of ability? He swept his gaze across like a high and mighty emperor looking down from above. A terrifying divine sense immediately descended on Xia Ping, enveloping him in all directions. Immediately, Xia Ping sensed a powerful divine sense sweeping back and forth across his body. It seemed to see through every corner of his body and expose all his secret. Stupid. Xia Ping secretly sneered. The ability of the formless mask on his body was unimaginable. Even if an ancient saint personally made a move, he would not be able to detect anything. What could a mere ancient saint do? How could he deal with the miraculous power of a connate treasure? Of course, he still pretended that he did not know anything. After a while, Minerva seemed to be unable to detect anything special about this Xia Ping. He immediately looked down on him, as if he had encountered a weed on the side of the road, and retracted his divine sense. You don't have to care about this matter. Please leave. Sophia gave the order to leave. Sophia, why are you so angry? If you really want to sell those 3,000 planets, why don't you sell them all to me? I can pay 60% of the market price. Minerva stretched out 6 fingers. 60%? Hearing this, Sophia immediately laughed. You want a share? Don't even think about eating a piece of meat from me. Sophia, this price of mine is unprecedented. To be honest, how many people in the entire universe have so much money to completely swallow your 3,000 commercial planets? Minerva said, I've heard a lot of news. Most people are only willing to pay 50% of the market price. I'm offering 60%, which is already letting you earn 10% of the market price. This is a huge benefit. Of course, if you sell them slowly, you might be able to sell them slowly over millions of years. But now you're at a critical moment in refining this high-grade sacred artifact, right? If you miss this opportunity and don't get enough materials, the refining will completely fail. I'm afraid that millions of years of effort will be wasted. Why do you have to be so calculative over this small amount of money? Of course, if you agree to be my woman, dual cultivate with me, and comprehend the great Tao of the universe, then giving you this much money for free is nothing. Get lost. Don't even think about it. I won't agree. Sophia was very angry. She knew that Minerva was taking advantage of her. Sophia, you're actually still being so stubborn. Don't tell me you think that this junior can help you? Minerva's killing intent surged as she looked at Xia Ping with an unfriendly expression. Chapter 2159. Feeling Minerva's murderous aura, Xia Ping only felt that he had suffered an undeserved disaster. This was originally a struggle between two near-ancient saints, but he was involved. However, he still needed Sophia's help, so he couldn't back down here. Thinking of this, Xia Ping stood up and said, Patriarch Sophia, the condition you just proposed is not impossible to sell 3,000 planets. What? Do you have a way to do it? Hearing this, Sophia was taken aback and looked at Xia Ping with a little surprise. If this kid in front of her could do this, she wouldn't need to be threatened by Minerva. Of course I have a way. It's a piece of cake, Xia Ping said lightly. A mouthful of nonsense. Minerva snorted coldly. The younger generation of the Lawrence family is so arrogant now. Do you know what the concept of 3,000 commercial planets is? It's not something an ordinary trash planet can compare to. Each commercial planet is worth at least 10 billion universe credits, and some are even as high as 100 billion universe credit. The value of 3,000 planets adds up to at least 30 trillion universe credit. Even a near-ancient saint can't take out such an amount in a short time. You actually dare to say that you can sell 3,000 planets at the same time without any discount. What a joke. Where can you find a force that can take over? Don't think that you don't have to pay a price for bragging. His body emitted a terrible murderous aura, like an ancient beast, as if it was about to tear the void apart. Boom. Sophia stood in front of Xia Ping and with a light palm, she instantly repelled the murderous aura. Minerva, I won't allow you to hurt the children of the Lawrence family in my territory. A near-ancient saint actually wants to attack a junior. You've really gone too far. Don't you have any self-respect? Humph. Minerva sneered. A junior dares to speak nonsense in front of a saint and lie openly. This is a serious crime. If it weren't for you, I would have killed him 8 or 10 times over. Why would I wait until now? Lie? Who said I'm lying? If you can't do it, others can't do it. Don't be too arrogant. It's better to be low-key. Xia Ping gave him a sidelong glance. Arrogant? You're just a little mortal, a dog that's not even worth a fart. How dare you talk to me like that? Minerva was so angry that he laughed. Ever since he became a saint, most people would only bow down to him and be scared out of their wits by him. He was like an emperor in control of everything, and he would not go back on his word. It had been a long time since someone dared to talk to him like this. However, this ant, who was not even worth a fart, actually dared to make a fuss here, and even dared to say that he was arrogant. He simply did not know how to write the word death. At this moment, he felt that his chest was filled with terrifying flames of rage that would erupt at any moment. He wished for nothing more than to slap the brat in front of him to death. Don't talk nonsense. If you really have the guts, sign a contract with me. Xia Ping said indifferently, if I can sell these 3,000 planets at the market price and win this contract, you will immediately go bankrupt and have to hand over all your assets. If I can't do it, I'll immediately die as an apology. Do you dare to make a contract with me? He directly forced her to abdicate. How dare an ant like you talk to me like this? Who do you think you are? Minerva was enraged. He had never been so angry in his life. He wanted to immediately slap this brat to death. This piece of trash that was like an ant thought that he was qualified to make a contract with him. It was simply wishful thinking. However, Sophia, who was next to him, was glaring like a tiger watching its prey. She emitted a faintly discernible aura, as if she would immediately stop him if he dared to make a move. She would absolutely not give him the chance to do so. Minerva, what do you think? Do you dare to make a bet with a disciple of the Lawrence family? Sophia looked at Minerva with a smile that was not a smile. Humph, what do you think my identity is, and what do you think this brat's identity is? Just based on what qualifications he has to make a bet with me? What does his life count for? Minerva sneered, disdainful of this so-called bet. Sophia, since you are not willing to agree, then I will not force you. I want to see if this brat really has this kind of ability. There will come a time when you need to beg me. At that time, I'm afraid the price will not be this. Think about it carefully. After throwing down this sentence, Minerva looked at Xia Ping coldly, then turned around and left. With a whoosh, he traveled through the void, and with a few leaps, he left the Lawrence family's ancient castle. But everyone knew that Xia Ping had completely angered Minerva, and triggered a great killing intent from Minerva. Barty, your courage is not bad. You actually dared to offend a near-ancient saint like Minerva. Even when I was young, I definitely did not have such courage. Sophia looked at Xia Ping with admiration. Don't worry, as long as I am here, that Minerva will not dare to make a move against you. But I am not sure about the others, so be careful. She indicated that she could stop Minerva. But as a near-ancient saint, if Minerva wanted to kill a junior in the returning truth realm, she had many ways to do so. With a casual order, who knew how many people would want to kill Xia Ping and win Minerva's favor? Emma looked at Xia Ping, speechless. She knew that this guy was bold and had no scruples, but she did not expect him to be this bold. He actually dared to talk back to a near-ancient saint. He must be tired of living. If she had known that something like this would happen, she definitely would not have brought this guy to the Lawrence castle right now. Now, he had offended Minerva, and his little life was frozen in water. Understood, master. Xia Ping nodded. He also felt Minerva's killing intent, but he was skilled and bold, and he had many tricks up his sleeve. Even if Minerva really did make a move, he had a way to escape. So naturally, he was not afraid. But was what you said just now true? Do you really have a way to sell 3,000 planets at the market price? This is not a joke. Don't try to fool me in front of my face. Sophia stared at Xia Ping, a hint of coldness on her face, as if warning Xia Ping not to lie to her. Of course I am not fooling you, master. I do have a way. Just leave this matter to me. Xia Ping faintly said, confident. All right, then I will leave this matter to you. I don't look at the process, only the result. Oh yes, here is a talisman. I will give it to you now. Activate this saint-grade talisman at a critical moment. It can save your life. Sophia waved her hand, and suddenly a golden talisman flew into Xia Ping's hand. With an unstoppable force, it instantly entered Xia Ping's body, forming a seed, and entered the depths of his dantian. Help! Xia Ping narrowed his eyes, and a cold smile appeared on his lips. He sensed that this talisman was not as simple as saving his life. At the same time, it also contained the intention of monitoring him. It could monitor his every move at all times. If Sophia wanted to, she could even detonate this talisman and kill him. As expected, these saints of the illusion tribe were not good people. None of them were good people. However, he did not show his emotions, pretending not to know the function of this saint-grade talisman. He still needed to use Sophia's power to help him obtain the sound stone. For now, he would bear with her for a while. Once he achieved his goal, there would be no need to bear with her anymore. Chapter 2160. Alright, you're dismissed. After saying this, Sophia waved her hand and allowed Xia Ping to leave the hall. Xia Ping didn't say anything and left immediately. Patriarch, what do you think of this person? Is there any problem? Emma asked. She was still a little suspicious of Xia Ping, feeling that Barty had changed too much from before. They were two completely different people. Of course, she wasn't very familiar with Barty before, and wasn't sure if he was hiding his strength and biding his time, or if that was his true nature, so it was only a suspicion. There's no problem. He's indeed of the Lawrence family's blood. This kid is a little smart. With some training, he might be a pillar of the Lawrence family. Give him some serious advice and don't let him take the wrong path. Sophia said in a low voice. What about the 3,000 planets? Emma looked at Sophia. Leave it to him. Since he's so confident, there will be corresponding punishment if he fails. This is the Lawrence family's rule, and the punishment is clear. If there's nothing else, you're dismissed. Sophia said. Yes, Patriarch. Emma nodded, then bade farewell to Patriarch Sophia and left the palace. At the moment, Xia Ping was waiting for Emma somewhere in the castle. Barty, I'll leave the business of the 3,000 planets to you. If you succeed, then it'll be a piece of cake for you to become a guard of the treasury. If you fail, don't even think about it. Understand? Emma said straightforwardly. It's just a small matter. Xia Ping nodded confidently. How do you want to sell these planets? I believe you know how huge an asset this is. On average, a planet is worth at least 10 billion universe credits. Who can handle such a big deal? Emma was very curious about Xia Ping's plan. She couldn't think of a way to sell these planets, and at the original price, no matter how hard she thought. In fact, if it were that simple, the 3,000 planets would have been sold long ago. It's very simple. Xia Ping smiled slightly. I plan to hold a lucky draw and let countless people participate. The prize is a planet, but only a lucky draw ticket can participate in this lucky draw. One lucky draw ticket is worth 10 universe credit. If it's a planet worth 10 billion universe credits, then we can issue 1 billion tickets and hold a lucky draw. The only person who wins the prize will become the owner of the planet. Try to think about it. With just 10 universe dollars, you actually have a chance to become the owner of a planet. Who wouldn't be tempted? Who wouldn't be willing to do it? Hearing this, Love Ma was instantly stunned. His heart was surging. That was indeed the case. Although 10 billion universe dollars was a lot to one person or a faction, it was only a small amount to the entire universe and the countless people on the planets. If he could sell 1 billion lottery tickets, he would be able to easily recover the cost of a planet. It was a steady profit. She was not worried that no one would buy these lottery tickets. This was because the prize was simply too attractive. Just spending 10 universe credits and having the chance to become the owner of a planet would make anyone's heart palpitate. Even if the chances of winning were low, so low that it made one's hair stand on end, it could not stop ordinary people from trying their luck. If they won, then they would probably be rich. If they didn't win, then it did not matter much. It was only 10 universe credits anyway. It would not be a big deal. It was just a drop in the bucket. However, if they succeeded, then they would reach the heavens in a single step. This way, these planets would even become best-selling goods. They could be sold anytime, anywhere. There would be no way for other factions to lower the price, and they could even take the opportunity to make a huge profit. Sometimes, if one looked at it from another perspective, it would be like the sky and the sea. Barty, you're practically a devil. To think you could even think of such a method. No wonder you're so confident. If you can't sell 3,000 planets with this method, then it would be strange. Love Ma was completely convinced. She was full of admiration. Before she said this plan, she felt that it was extremely difficult, but after saying it out loud, she immediately came to a realization. She now felt that this Barty was simply a devil who could see through people's hearts. Everything seemed to become a piece of cake in his hands. He was simply the evil Barty. Fortunately, Minerva had not made a bet with Barty. Otherwise, Minerva would have been in big trouble. Then I'll leave this matter to you. You decide how to operate it yourself, Xiaoping said calmly. This kind of method was nothing in his previous life. It was just a way to sell lottery tickets. The prize money for each issue was tens of millions, and each ticket was worth $2. The chances of winning were obviously extremely high, almost impossible. Even so, even if everyone knew that it was almost impossible for them to win, it still attracted the attention of countless people. Every issue sold for billions. This was the nature of greed. This kind of business was probably even more profitable than selling drugs. Moreover, it was a business without any capital. Unfortunately, this kind of business could only be controlled by the government. Ordinary people could not get involved at all. However, it was different in this universe. There were no such rules, and no one could monopolize it. Therefore, Xiaoping could do whatever he wanted. What about you? What are you going to do? Love Ma was stunned. She did not expect Barty to not want to participate in the whole process. I'll go into seclusion. I've been in the limelight recently, so there's no need for me to continue doing so. It's fine as long as I have enough merits to become a treasury guard. Anything more is useless to me. In this universe, strength is the most important. Xiaoping clenched his fist. Not bad. It seems that you haven't been blinded by the recent events. You know when to advance and when to retreat. Very good. I'll do this on your behalf. I won't mistreat you. Hearing this, Love Ma suddenly smiled. This Barty was indeed an extremely smart person. He knew when to advance and when to retreat. If Barty's merits continued to grow, who knew how many people would hate him? He was only in the returning truth realm, and he could not withstand the evil intentions coming from all directions. However, she was different. She was in the Thunder Retribution realm. She was an extremely powerful existence in the Lawrence family. No matter how many merits she had, others would not dare to hate her. Moreover, the more merits she had, the more benefits she would receive from the Lawrence family. Therefore, she was extremely eager to obtain great merit. Now, Xiaoping had done her a great favor. Thank you, Elder Love Ma. Xiaoping smiled slightly. He naturally knew what Love Ma was thinking. Unfortunately, she did not know that he was a fake. She had no interest in staying in the illusion race. Her only goal was to obtain the Sound Stone. As long as he obtained the Sound Stone, he could immediately leave. There was no need for him to stay in this place. Of course, he would not say this out loud. He still looked like a member of the illusion race. Chapter 2161. Next, under Emma's manipulation, the news that one could become the lord of a planet by spending 10 universe credits in the lottery spread to all corners of the universe. Immediately, it attracted the attention of countless people, and everyone was excited. There was no doubt that this lottery event went very smoothly. The 1 billion lottery tickets for the first planet were sold out in almost an instant and were easily sold for 10 billion. As for the following 3,000 planets, it was also progressing gradually. It was estimated that it would only take 2 or 3 months to sell them out smoothly, and they might even make a huge profit. Even this matter caused a huge shock among the illusion race. No one had thought that there was such a way to sell planets out. After Minerva, the head of the Leicester family, knew about this, his face became gloomy for a long time. A few ignorant people had provoked him, and he had killed them all, leaving not even their bones behind. His hatred for Xiaoping had deepened. As for Xiaoping, he relied on his identity as a popular person of the Lawrence family to walk around the Lawrence family's territory. No one dared to offend him at this time. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he successfully entered the Lawrence family's library. There were many records of the illusion race's magical powers and secret technique. Although many magical powers and secret techniques required a certain level to be opened, because of his good relationship with Emma, he had obtained Sophia's tacit approval, which allowed him to smoothly record countless magical powers and secret techniques of the illusion race. These secret techniques were obtained by the illusion race after countless years of accumulation. It was difficult for outsiders to know of their existence, and for countless years, they had never been passed on to outsiders. Among these secret techniques, the most basic and powerful secret technique of the illusion race was the 72 illusionary transformations. Using this magical power and the illusion race's bloodline as the foundation, one could transform into anything in the world and imitate it vividly. Many of the illusion race's people used this magical power and secret technique to walk unhindered in the universe. Even if they did all kinds of bad things, they could still transform into other races and escape with ease. Although Xiaoping also had the formless mask and could transform into all kinds of things, he didn't really understand this kind of magical power and couldn't understand the nature of the secret technique. However, after learning the 72 illusionary transformations, Xiaoping also had a deeper understanding of the art of transformation. I see. Xiaoping was suddenly enlightened and activated the 72 transformations illusion. In an instant, countless mysterious energies gathered together in the depths of the void, forming a talisman that looked like a cloud and mist. It was formless, colorless, and traceless, as if it could transform into anything in the world. With a bang, when the transformation talisman fused with his body, he felt that his muscles, bones, and even his blood vessels had undergone incredible changes. He seemed to have a deeper understanding of his own body. In essence, this transformation secret technique was a powerful divine ability to understand and completely control one's own body. In addition to the 72 illusion transformations, Xiaoping also obtained many secret techniques. One of them was called the Infinite Great Void 3000 Clones. It was an extremely powerful escape technique. Once this divine ability was used, it could immediately transform into 3000 clones, and each clone was enough to pass off as the real one. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to find the real one at all. These clones even had spatial abilities and could instantly escape into the depths of the void. It could be said that after mastering this divine ability, it was equivalent to mastering a powerful escape technique. However, learning this divine ability wasn't a simple matter. First, one had to have magic power that was 100 times stronger than ordinary cultivators. Only then could one easily form 3000 clones. Secondly, one had to have a strong understanding of the power of space and easily understand the laws of space. Only then would the clones have the space attribute and be able to absorb space energy. Only by combining the two would one be able to successfully cultivate this divine ability. However, the first threshold alone was enough to prevent 99% of people from dying. The second threshold was even more so. As a result, there were only a few among the illusion race who could learn this divine ability. Fortunately, Xiaoping met these two requirements and easily learned this divine ability. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, Xiaoping's thoughts moved and he immediately split into 3000 clones. Each of the clones filled the surrounding space. They were so densely packed that they even merged into the void. It seemed that as long as he willed it, the 3000 clones could escape at will and no one would be able to catch up. Moreover, each clone was solid. Without the infernal golden crow's eye, one wouldn't be able to see through the clones. Not a bad escape secret technique. Xiaoping immediately felt very satisfied. With this escape secret technique, he estimated that it would play a huge role at a critical moment. Even if he faced a strong enemy, he would be able to escape easily. Moreover, this secret technique could be used not only for escape but also in battle. Instantly creating 3000 clones would definitely leave the enemy at a loss. Other than these two secret techniques, He also found many powerful mental secret techniques that were not inferior to the accumulation of the soul race. Because the illusion race didn't just have the ability to transform. At the same time, they were also masters of mental illusion technique. They could set up illusion array after illusion array to trap the enemy. Some powerful illusion masters could trap countless enemies with just a glance, causing them to fall into the depths of an illusion. One of the more powerful mental secret techniques was the limitless nightmare technique. When this secret technique was cultivated to the extreme, one could instantly pull countless enemies into the nightmare world. Inside, there was a myriad of phenomena. If one couldn't see through it, they wouldn't be able to leave the nightmare world and would be trapped forever. This was somewhat similar to the true solution of illusions. However, the true solution of illusions was the fundamental technique of illusions, while this limitless nightmare technique was a powerful secret technique. It was a unique and powerful illusion technique. Interesting. Xiaoping touched his chin. He felt that this secret technique had benefited him a lot. It was enough to raise his illusion power to a higher level, and he could use the power of his soul more skillfully. In addition, he also found many illusion array formations, such as the gem maze array, the ghost chilling wind array, and so on. They were all extremely powerful illusion array formations. It also greatly improved his knowledge of array formations, allowing him to obtain countless benefits. He had to admit that the greatest benefit of entering the illusion race might not be the sound-grained stones, but the precious knowledge accumulated by the illusion race over countless years. This knowledge should have been learned by the illusion race, but now it was all displayed in front of him. This was probably a huge fortuitous encounter that countless people yearned for. Rumble, as he learned these magical secret techniques, the magic power in Xiaoping's body also rose, naturally advancing. It was more than a level stronger than before, and he was getting closer and closer to the peak of the Thunder Tribulation realm. Vaguely, he felt that he seemed to be getting closer and closer to the Thunder Tribulation. He felt like there was a sword on his back. Chapter 2162. In the blink of an eye, more than a month had passed. During this time, Xiaoping was immersed in learning all kinds of secret techniques of the illusion race. He enjoyed himself so much that he forgot to stop. His cultivation didn't need to work hard on it, so it naturally increased. It was like water flowing into a canal. In fact, when one reached this level of martial arts, even if he did not actively train, the techniques in his body would automatically run, achieving the effect of yin and yang merging. If someone saw Xiaoping now, they would find that Xiaoping's aura had no edges, and had become round. He had reached the realm of returning to the natural state, just like a mortal. This meant that he had completely mastered his surging magic power and divine sense perfectly. Not a single trace of his aura leaked out from his body. No one knew that his body contained a surging, violent energy. Once it exploded, it would be earth-shattering. During this time, the tree race elder Rich still could not find the existence of the tree world, so Xiaoping stayed in the illusion peacefully, and no one disturbed him. But at this time, Emma came to him personally. "Barty, your matter has been settled. After the family leader personally intervened, the magic race elder has decided to give you a chance to become a treasure house guard," Emma said to Xiaoping. She indicated that the family leader, Sophia, was very satisfied with Xiaoping's plan, because this matter allowed her to gather enough money, and she did not need to care about the other saints, which allowed her to save face. Therefore, Sophia felt that Xiaoping had done a good job, and focused on training him, so she agreed to Xiaoping's request. "A chance? What does that mean?" Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He felt that there might be a twist in this matter. "What are you looking at? It is good to have a chance. After all, this position is a treasure house guard, and the inspection is very strict, and there is a high requirement for strength. If you do not have enough strength, you cannot become a guard." Emma said angrily, "To be honest, with your strength in the returning true realm, you do not have much of a chance, but with the family leader's efforts, and with a lot of contributions, the people over there have agreed to give you a chance. If you pass the trial announced by the Treasury Guards this time, then you will truly be able to obtain this position. Although that was what she said, she also felt embarrassed. Originally, this matter was in the bag, but now there was a change. Because there was someone who didn't want Xiaoping to get this position. However, this was a secret, and he couldn't say it out loud. Trial? What kind of trial is it? Xiaoping asked. He was speechless. This group of people was really unreliable. The saint personally told them to go through some **T trial. They really didn't give the saint any face. However, this opportunity wasn't bad either. Even if he needed this trial, it didn't matter. With his strength, there was no trial that he couldn't pass. Hunting demons, Emma said in a low voice. She said that the illusion race controlled one of the demon channels in the abyss. That place had become a training ground for many illusion race warriors. It was a training ground for martial arts mystique. And this trial was for those who wanted to compete for the Treasure House Guard to participate together. As long as they could kill 10 returning nature realm demons or 1 transcendence realm demon, they would pass the trial. This also proved that they had the strength to become a Treasure House Guard. So that's how it is. Then I understand. When will this trial begin? Xiaoping asked. Tomorrow. Gather in front of the mission hall. There are many people participating. Be careful. Emma said the time and place. It was to gather in front of the mission hall. It seemed that an illusion race elder would be the chief examiner. Okay, I understand. Xiaoping nodded. The next day, Xiaoping went directly to a plaza in front of the mission hall. Suddenly, he saw many illusion race warriors in the plaza. There were men and women, and they stood together neatly. And these people's cultivation was at least in the returning nature realm. Most were in the transcendence realm. There were no Thunder Calamity realm cultivators. After all, after reaching the Thunder Calamity realm, there was no need to be a treasure house guard. They could go to any universe secret realm and take countless treasures back. There was no need to work so hard. This is Chris. All of a sudden, Xiaoping spotted a familiar figure in the crowd. It was Barty's archenemy, Chris. In the time that he had not seen this brat, it seemed that his cultivation had increased greatly. His aura was astonishing, and his cultivation had advanced to the returning truth realm, which was already on par with the Barty that Xiaoping had impersonated. Humph! Chris obviously noticed Xiaoping's gaze. After he reached the returning nature realm, his face was arrogant. He seemed to be looking down on Xiaoping, saying that he would not lose to anyone. Many people also looked over, obviously noticing Xiaoping. This kid is the Barty that caused a lot of commotion recently? It is said that this kid swindled a few billion and won the bet with Mission Hall Supervisor Jacob, causing Elder Jacob to become a pauper. He must have gone mad from anger. That's right. No way. This kid is so powerful. Doesn't that mean he has a lot of money? If he is so rich, why is he fighting with us for the treasure house guard position? Who says they have too much money? This kid probably has his eyes on this position and wants to get some benefit. No matter what, this is a lucrative job. More money, less work. Indeed. Some nobles know that it is very difficult to get this position. No matter how many connections they pull, it is useless. This kid just reached the returning nature realm. This trial is very difficult. We need to kill demons. This guy is not a big threat. There is nothing to fear. Indeed. That's indeed the case. Who knows, if a bunch of fiendish demons charge at him, this kid will be dead. It's good that he is dead. Maybe we can get a share of the treasures he left behind. Everyone discussed animatedly. The way they looked at Xiaoping was very strange and sinister. Their faces were full of malicious intent. If there was a chance, they would not mind killing and robbing. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Just then, 3 figures flew over from afar. They emitted the powerful aura of the Thunder Calamity realm. They suppressed the void and descended in front of everyone. Everyone quieted down. Mission Hall Supervisor Jacob? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He immediately recognized the three people in charge of this trial mission. One of them was his archenemy, the person he had offended, the Mission Hall Supervisor Jacob. He immediately felt a sense of threat. This trial mission might be a big conspiracy. These people did not come with good intentions. No matter how he looked at it, he seemed to have barged into a tiger's den. Please remember this book's domain name. Third Sect Leader's Mobile Version. Chapter 2163. However, Xia Ping was bold and fearless. He was not afraid of such things. If it was the real Barty, he would have been dead by now. At that moment, Mission Hall Supervisor Jacob said, "All of you are here to apply for the position of Treasury Guard. The requirements for this position are very high. First of all, you must be strong. If you don't have extremely strong combat power, you can only dream of becoming a Treasury Guard. I, Jacob, am one of the chief examiners of this assessment. I am impartial and impartial. Anyone who wants to go through the back door, those idiots who can only rely on their connections to get this opportunity, or those good-for-nothings who want to fish in troubled waters in front of me, will not be able to do so. Remember them all." He glanced at Xia Ping and a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Of course, on the surface, he was still an impartial examiner and would not bend the law for personal gain. Chris, who was in the crowd, also sneered. He looked at Xia Ping as if he was looking at a dead man. "All right, I won't say much." Jacob continued, "This time, your assessment location is in the Abyss continent. You must clear a sufficient number of abyssal demons to complete the task and pass the assessment. If you can't clear a sufficient number, then it proves that you are not strong enough to take up the position of Treasury Guard. That means you have failed the assessment. But I have to remind you that the assessment to enter the Abyss world this time is not child's play. Those abyssal demons are extremely powerful, evil, and cruel. If you let your guard down, you will die inside, and no one can save you. Oh right, who wants to quit? It's not too late to do so now." When the thousands of illusion clansmen heard this, their faces showed pride. Since they were able to compete for the position of Treasury Guard, they naturally knew the content of this assessment. If they were not strong enough, they would have given up long ago. Although this assessment seemed very difficult, as long as they were careful with their strength, they could easily complete it. It was not a mission with 9 out of 10 chances of survival. "Supervisor." At this time, Xia Ping stood up and said, "I suddenly feel a little uncomfortable. Can I apply to take the assessment again next time?" "What?" Hearing this, the surrounding people looked at him with disdain. Could it be that this kid was afraid of failing the assessment, so he wanted to retreat? As expected, he was a gutless bandit. He did not have any courage. Bullsh *T, take the test next time? Can you ask your mother to give birth to you later? This has already been decided. How can she change the test date just because of you? Who do you think you are? Even if your father is a saint, he can't change this." Jacob sneered. He could tell at a glance that this brat was timid. Knowing that he had become an examiner, he wanted to retreat. Perhaps he knew that he would harm him during the examination, so he wanted to withdraw from the examination. But how could he let this kid do this? If he really withdrew from the assessment, he didn't know how long it would take for him to find a chance to take revenge. "If that's the case, I'll give up." Xia Ping still wanted to say something. But before Xia Ping could say anything, Jacob immediately said, "All right, let's cut to the chase. Since you've all agreed to participate in the test, you can teleport to the Abyss continent now. We've already activated the teleportation array. Everyone, just stand still." He had no intention of saying any words of rejection to Xia Ping. "You've already boarded the pirate ship, and you still want to escape? Do you think it's that easy? Stop your wishful thinking. Rumble in an instant, a huge teleportation array on the square vibrated and bloomed with dazzling light. It was like a sky full of stars, connecting to the abyss world. The space changed, and everyone present was teleported out of the square. In the next second, they immediately appeared in a pitch-black, gloomy world where they couldn't even see their own fingers. This abyss world was filled with a dark aura, flowing with abyssal, corrosive, cursed, evil, and other energies. From time to time, angry roars of demons could be heard from afar. All the people of the illusion race instinctively felt waves of fear. This was not a place suitable for ordinary people to stay in. There would be terrifying abyssal demon energy eroding their bodies at all times. If it wasn't for completing the assessment mission, they would definitely not be willing to come to this damned place. It really is the abyss world. The illusion race actually found a teleportation array that connects to the abyss world. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. Sir Examiner, how can we return to the illusion world after completing the mission? Someone asked. That's simple. All of you have a mysterious imprint left behind by the illusion race. As long as you activate this imprint, you can immediately break through the space and pull you back to the illusion world. Jacob opened his mouth and said, Of course, if you want to activate this imprint, you must be in an absolutely safe place. If you are in the middle of a battle, you can't activate it. Even if you forcefully activate it, it will be destroyed. Everyone must remember this. Everyone nodded. They indeed saw a mysterious imprint similar to the swastika symbol appear on their wrist. It seemed to contain a tyrannical energy that could connect to the illusion world. Alright, stop talking nonsense. You can leave now and quickly complete the mission. This assessment mission only has 10 days. After this time, it will be considered a failure regardless of whether you kill enough demons or not. Jacob said in a low voice. His eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Yes. When everyone heard this, they all felt a sense of urgency. They felt that they couldn't waste any more time in this place. They all flew in all directions, wanting to find enough demons to kill. Xia Ping also wanted to choose a direction to leave in. But before he moved, Jacob and the other 3 Lightning Tribulation Realm examiners, as well as a dozen returning Truth Realm and Transcendence Realm cultivators, immediately surrounded him. When the others saw this, they didn't dare to care at all. Instead, they ran as fast as they could. They knew that if they were involved in this matter, they would definitely be killed. In just a few breaths' time, this group of unrelated people disappeared from this place. Only Xia Ping, Jacob, Carrie, and the others were left. In an instant, this place was filled with murderous intent. The cold wind rustled, and everything was silent. Elder Jacob, what do you want to do? Xia Ping looked at the group of people surrounding him and said calmly, Do you want to harm me? Do you know the rules of the illusion race? If you kill each other, you won't gain anything. Don't make a mistake. Please remember this book's domain name. Mobile version,